Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and joining us once again is Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
I'm back. Miss me?
Yes, definitely. But quite the full house last week, so it was a little crazy. I think I forgot most of the intro, forgot to thank the patrons, all kinds of stuff. So it was pretty wild without you.
I'm not here.
Yeah, I know. And coming to us the first time on this show, but we have been on Sarth and Crix's Classic Life podcast together. Grifton, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming. Welcome to the show. Oh, and finally, last but definitely not least, we have what would you call us? We were nemesises, and then we were frenemies, and now we've upgraded to friends now.
Friends.
Aladar.
I've had to beg to come on this podcast for years. Finally I'm here.
Oh man, yeah.
Reach the bottom of the barrel here, chat. Like, this is like literally bottom of the barrel now. So
same.
We had
Whatever.
I feel the same.
We had an interesting first meeting. I still kind of feel bad about it, but should we tell the story real quick before we start?
Was that actually the very first time that we ever interacted with each other?
I had watched your stream and talked to you in stream before, but this was the first time we actually really interacted and
in game.
Yeah, I still feel bad about it, but I did save you in the end. Because I could have let my friend mind control you and walk you backwards, but instead I was like, no, charged you, let you out of the zone, so you're actually safe. But it was total toxic behavior. Basically, I did the show, raided Aladar. Then I get done talking. I think Def Camp and Melderon were on. We talked for another, 40 minutes or something after that. But then I get back into to Guild, and the people that had been watching the show in Guild were watching Aladar, and he made a tune on Benediction, and we had just moved from Whitemane to Benediction. So we were dealing with a lot of post-traumatic stress of being the 5% on the server and just dying 6 times trying to get into SSC, yada yada. So we had some pent-up rage. So my guild's he's talking shit on Alliance, let's go kill him. And he was in, it's not Thousand Needles, what's it called?
Stone Talon Mountains.
Yeah. And we went there and oh, go ahead.
Just to give some quick context, when I originally played on Fairlena, I've always played on Fairlena, but one night I just decided I jokingly said I'm going to make a guild just for PvP services on Heartseeker because it was 99% Alliance. So we made a Horde guild, and it was 5 of us, and we didn't think much of it. We were just going to roam around and do PK. And it turned into 2 or 3 full raids in size, just based on word of mouth through my stream.
Wow.
And we would literally go camp the entranceway to AQ40 every Tuesday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, and just wipe every guild that came through. So you can understand. So me going to Benediction, which is where everyone from Heartseeker on the Alliance side went to, me going to Benediction was not going to happen. They were there's no way. And I was getting messages, not just from the guys that you were with, but people were there's no way we're going to let you level here. Don't even try. But
yeah, it's
fun. It's all in good fun.
You had a rough couple days, even not, after us, but
I think that was the only day where I really got any serious camping. After that, I pretty much leveled up to 80 with no problems. So.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we got there, and at first, like, I just killed you once and just thought it was funny. And then me and one of the other guys with me were actually going to go help you kill that elite spider. But the real toxic guy, he's our guild feral druid, by the way. He went ahead of us, grabbed the spider, kited it off. And like, so then like they just started killing you, and I was like, okay, I'll join in. We just kept killing, and then we were talking smack in
really
the
had to twist his
chat.
arm, he was really trying not to.
And it was, but I did feel really bad, and they were gonna like, and he couldn't get out. He had to get to the Barrens. So this started at the top of Stone Town Mountains and just kept going down.
I ghost walked all the way from the graveyard all the way down to the Barrens.
God.
On stream, by the way. It took me a while. I was watching, I don't know how many videos we watched on stream.
You did a whole bunch of React content. We're just like waiting.
What was your mood? Like, was it fun for you, or was it?
Oh, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it at all. Like griefers, or I mean, I was. That's what I grew up doing in games before World of Warcraft.
Same.
I was a hardcore PKer and griefer, and I think it's hilarious. And
you use
find
PK?
Yeah, player killer. Yeah.
Did you play Ultima Online?
Oh yeah, that's where I started.
Same. And I was a PK also.
Yeah, I was on the server called Pacifica and ran. I guess it was three of us, but we ran one of the most well-known PvP guilds. I mean, there was no PvE in that game, right? It was, I mean, you chopped
not
wood.
Really, yeah, not really PvE, not much.
No, and then we moved from game to game to game, and just our goal was just to annihilate people. And then World of Warcraft came along, and it was Care Bear City, basically. So.
Dude, I was I was really upset with the start of I did get into PvE eventually, but I was like, where's all the good PvP? But yeah, Ultima Online, I was on Great Lakes. That's crazy because I say PK and people are like, what? I'm like,
maybe that's showing my age here.
But yeah, I mean, it seemed like pretty good content for his stream, and they seemed to be having a good time in chat with it, so it didn't seem like he was angry. So
no, I wasn't getting mad at all. I just thought, in fact, I like to see the stuff like that in games. It actually annoys me when I'm on a PvP server and you listen to people complain about having their buffs dispelled or something like that. And it's like, dude, you chose to come to this server, and now you're you had the opportunity to go play on a PvE server, and now you're complaining that some priest is dispelling your buffs or some shamans
I was never a fan of the dispelling. I didn't mind at all the wars, them trying to, when we were like a pretty close server, it was, I think White Mage was 40% alliance for the most time. That was so cool. Roll into raid as a huge raid and fighting another raid. That was cool. But when they stayed dead in Stormwind and then just res, I mean, it never happened to me because I was very careful, but it still just seems kind of well, that's not really PvP.
Did you guys do the Terran Mills South Shore PvP fight
back in the day?
WoW first came out. Remember there was a day when they flipped PvP on. Prior to that, you couldn't PvP at all. Mm-hmm. And I remember guild,
I remember that day very fondly.
It was so fun. We were there for hours just killing them and pushing them back to Terra Mills, and they started moving us back. It was probably the most PvP fun I've ever had.
Well, Mel, I don't think you remember, because I remember when the Honor first came out and the Torn Mill battles were happening. I was doing those battles the night that I met you, the night that you came back with the party.
Classic.
No, I was talking about vanilla. The night that I met you, that you came to my roommate's party that he threw after work. I was on the computer playing. When I heard you guys pull up, I just turned the monitor off, pretended to sleep, so hopefully my roommate would kick everybody out, but instead he just woke me up. It was like, hey, I got people over. And then I got up and then walked past you on the stairs, changed, did my hair, came right back down, and that's how I was doing Tauren Mill battles when the night that I met you. Is so funny. All right, well, we should get this show started. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, did you have? I'm just gonna get the show going. Did you have something to follow up? Okay.
No, that was good.
All right. Well, we're gonna start out. I like to start out by saying thank you to our tank patrons in Thick Lizzie, Croxford, Braxton, and Turtle Whale. I'd like to mention we stream the show live on Twitch at twitch.tv/BlazinBob, BLAZZINBOB. And if you want to know when we go live, you can follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded, or you can join our new Discord server at discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded. What else? Oh, okay. So we're going to go through. We got one voicemail, one new review. We're going to go over what we've been doing in Classic WoW. Then we're going to hit the news. And I think that's going to be the show for today. It seems like we're on some time constraints, but we'll definitely make sure I'll meet with these guys later individually and get their first guest show interview. So that'll be coming in either at the end of an episode in the future. So look for that. And with that being said, let's get going. So we had one email with one voicemail with two questions. Anybody who wants to send us one of those, you can go to speakpipe.com/Warcraft Reloaded, or you can call 816-866-1066. Let's listen to the first one.
Hello, Bob, Mel, whoever else is there. Hopefully I can get it right this time. So I've got two questions. The first one is regarding RDF, but not in the normal way. I'm curious about the people. We never see those people in game, but we see them on social media, on the forums, and how they're constantly screaming, "No RDF, it'll ruin the game." And I'm like, how? Like, are these people that are just part of a social group or in this one guild? What are they doing? Like, who are these group of people that supposedly play the game, right? But they're never in there. I don't ever hear them in game. It's only on social media. So I was curious about that. Like, who are these group of people? And honestly, what are their thoughts and how do they, what's the logic? Because I just can't think of any good reason why RDF would be bad for the game. Just curious on your thoughts on that. Second.
Okay, so to answer the first question, I feel like he's trolling me. Now, this is Mega Man. He frequents a lot of Classic WoW streams. I don't know if you've ever had him in your stream, but he uses talk to text. And it's some of the funniest mistypes you could ever see trying to say Warcraft names and stuff. But I feel like he's trolling me. So I know that he knows that I don't like RDF, but what is your guys' thoughts on RDF and if it's good or bad?
Wait,
Hate it.
what is RDF? Raid Finder?
Random Dungeon
Raid,
Finder.
no, Dungeon. Yeah. I like the idea of Dungeon Finder. I don't like Raid
but RDF
Finder.
is Random Dungeon Finder.
Yeah, RDF is. You're talking about Raid. What's it called? The
Raid. Yeah, Raid
Finder.
Finder.
Yeah. So
yeah.
RDF is the Random Dungeon Finder that in original WoW came out in the ICC patch. So even if you are a big RDF fan, it didn't technically come out until later anyway, but I'm actually a big fan of it. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think I get the idea that they were trying to go for a social aspect, hey, talk to your people. I think I only run with guildies. For the most part, I run dungeons with them. And it doesn't encourage me to run them anywhere else. The only difference between RDF and what we do here is we still have to fly. But because 90% of everyone's engineers, we just take wormholes anyway. I don't know. I just don't see the advantage of not having it. Though in the PTR, they did make some good efforts in the LFG tool. make it a little bit easier to find the right group. So maybe we're close to getting there. I don't know.
Okay, well, I think what he meant to say was Raid Finder, but like, let's go ahead and do RDF first.
Is looking for raid.
Yeah, let's
LFR,
answer.
that's
Yeah,
what it
let's
is.
answer both. So, what do you think about Random Dungeon Finder?
I hate it personally.
You don't like it?
No, it takes people out of the world. People aren't traveling around. I do.
You just like to
remember
kill them in the world. That's why you want them to
yeah.
play the world.
that is actually one of the reasons, but it's it's more than just that. It's it makes the world look dead. I remember back when it was actually the last major patch that it came in for Wrath, and the people just don't remember that the last patch was like a year long. It was ridiculously long for how long it was, but what it did is it just basically encouraged people just to sit in town and not actually do anything. They just sit in town and spam dungeons over and over and over again. So when you were actually out in the world, it made the world feel like it was dead. Like there was nobody traveling around. There was no point to. And I mean, it's a role playing game. You have to like actually move around from one place to another. And this whole business of just teleporting there, I just think it takes a little bit out of the game. That I know it's maybe easier for people to just get into game and get into a group really quickly and go do a quick dungeon, but I mean I just think it takes a little bit of sense of I don't know realism or something like that, like but I don't like what it takes away from the game is the reason why I don't like it. And same as I mean, if we're going to talk about Raid Finder, that's just retail to me, and I can't be bothered to even talk about it because it turns the game into a solo player game. You're not really having to interact with other people, and I that's one of the reasons why retail is so bad. And Dungeon Finder in the way that it was done back in the day, you basically got thrown into a group. You had no real say about it, from what I remember, and it was just like, here,
it was pretty toxic.
Group, go, and it's
and you would get voted out real easily. Like if it was pretty toxic. I honestly, I don't really like. I'm on Benny, so like I find groups easily, but like I'm also pretty easily like I don't mind sending someone a tell if they tell me no. I'm like, okay. Send the next person to tell. If they tell me no, I'm like, okay. Like I don't really care, but some people like get frustrated by it. Like there's like a lot that goes into it, but I wouldn't mind it for like leveling, like especially at least 1 to 60, because there are dungeons I'd love to do, but there is no way I'm walking over to Serpent Shrine Caverns. Like, I'm just not doing it now. Like, I did it, for my first two characters in Classic Vanilla, but it's not something like. But I'd like to run it, but I'm just not gonna do it at this point in the game. So I mean, I'd kind of like it, like just for that. But it's funny because in Kata's where I quit. And I don't even know where all the dungeons are in Kata because of Random Dungeon Finder. Like I have no clue where the dungeons are.
Well, I think in Kata they made it so in order to do the dungeon, you had to unlock it, right? I'm almost positive I remember.
I might have went there once. I'm just saying, like,
and that's it. Once you've been there once,
I'm gonna forget that though. Like it's not memorable. Like, so yeah, I really don't have a problem with it not being in because I'm fine, but I do feel for the people on smaller servers and stuff like that. It is kind of sucky, but
yeah.
I'm just reading chat here. Kata on launch, you had to walk to the entrance at launch, but that requirement was quickly removed. Like that minor requirement is too hard for people to do. Like they're getting that lazy that they're like, no, okay, sorry, that was too
I refuse to leave Orgrimmar. Come on, make this work for me.
I just want to sit here and spam dungeons over, and I don't want to leave you.
I feel like
if I was
leveling
up though, if I was leveling up, I would just use it while I quested. Then just do the dungeon, then pop right back into questing.
That would just dungeon grind.
You're probably right.
Up.
The problem with that is, and I'm sure anyone that's done RDF can back this up for leveling, let's say you're in Ashenvale doing the level 20 stuff. As soon as you jump into RDF and you do like 1 or 2, you've now out-leveled the place that you're located in. And you're gonna now what you do is you get back to Ashenvale, you're like, okay, this is too low level, and you head to the next zone and you queue up RDF. And as soon as you get to the next zone, you hop into an RDF, you run 1 or 2, and now you're too high level for the next zone, and you're literally chasing quests the whole time to the point where you're like, okay, I'll just do RDF. I'll just sit in Orgrimmar because it's the easier way.
I get that. Yeah.
But at the same time, especially I'm like my server is relatively small. I'm on Westfall. We've got about 5,000, 6,000 active players. There's nobody in any of the lower zones. Nobody. It's a PvE, so it's not like people are hiding. People just don't level alts, or if they do, they get boosted, which is still a thing. It's I think like you said, like lower level, it definitely makes a lot. In my opinion, it like makes a lot of sense. But you make a good point for PvP worlds. You're literally removing world PvP, which is already kind of a dying concept in Classic anyway.
Well, and now that you mention it, I don't know if it was ever changed, but I think in Kata, there were multiple times I was having a PvP fight, and they'll take their Q mid-fight and get sucked into the dungeon and just disappear. I think that's how it was happening. I don't know if that ever... I could be remembering that wrong. It might have been a BGQ or something. I don't know.
People were doing that for world buffs, though, in vanilla.
Yep.
Like
I did that.
You go and get your Dark Moon Fair buffs. You go and try and do that, and the other faction would be camping or the Dark Moon Fair area.
Yep.
And you'd queue up for Ultric Valley and wait for it to pop, and then grab the buff and instantly hit and then AFK out of the battleground.
There was even I had a weak aura that would just do it. I would just click, like as soon as the BGQ popped, I would click, and it would choose the buff and click yes, and it was just like instant. I
had that one as well.
Yeah. I kind of missed the flower thing, like everyone having to click the flower. If you ever like had to pick something that was more community driven, out in Fellwood, everyone's got to like wait for the flower, and then people, like there's like everyone's got like the Nova counter, so it's like 3 seconds away, and everyone starts spamming, and then that druid comes along, goes into bear form, and sits on the flower, and nobody can click it. I loved that because it made people so angry. And then you're like, then all you're doing is looking at your not your Dark Moon Fair, you're looking at your Dire Maul tribute buffs, and you're like, oh, there goes 3 minutes. I gotta log out and wait for the next cycle. It's so funny.
Yeah, well, and then we did that on a PvP server, so it was even crazier. Like we would own like the north, and they'd own like the south. Although Horde had it easy with one of the flowers right next to their base of operations. I mean, we had one too, but we had
the one like right there that everyone did.
We did have NPCs there to kind of annoy, It's the only difference. You guys had a little bit more NPCs, but yeah. Well, what do you think about random raid finder or not random, but raid finder? I hate that. Like, I feel like raiding's the top part of the game. And you should have to talk to people to get into a raid. That's how I feel.
Well, I think the other component that's annoying is when they introduced that. I don't know if it was right away, but the LFR version was also a dumbed down version of the raid, like a nerfed version too. And it's really annoying when if you've ever done those, it's a no mechanic usually. Like you can ignore every mechanic and still down the boss. It's like, you're right. It's the end point. It's the end of the game, and people are allowed to just bypass the thing that they've been, practicing and working on, and just get the loot.
Weird.
Like,
When I found that, I was like, okay, that's even weirder, right?
This is really weird.
It was I wasn't a huge fan of the looking for raid anyways, but then I found out it was a dumbed down version of the raid, and I was like, what?
I just don't like it because it encourages solo gameplay, and you end up just raiding with people that you'll very likely never ever talk to again. Yeah. And you're just filling up raids doing that sort of stuff, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of why I like to play MMOs. Like I don't ever play single player games. I play MMOs that's all I play, and it's for the social aspect and interacting with people and getting to know people in the game. I like the way that vanilla encourages you to have to actually get with a group. I know and don't even get me started on GDKPs because I'm going to get angry. But I like the game encouraging people to do that, and the more tools that they bring in, and the easier they make raids to be because you're joining an LF or looking for raid group or whatever it's called. I just think it takes away from the game. So
you don't like GDKPs, huh?
I can't stand them. No.
I think there's different levels of them though. Like
it encourages people to buy gold for starters.
It does. I mean, it does definitely do that.
Yeah, like it's. I mean,
it's just a money laundering system. Let's be honest.
It is. You can make whatever excuse you want to say that it's okay for the game, but in fact, it actually seriously encourages buying gold, and I don't like that at all. If there's a way for Blizzard to actually get rid of people from buying gold, I would be all for it. But that would.
Are you for the WoW token then?
No, absolutely not. No, I think
that's like that's the solution Blizzard came up with, was they would just handle the money themselves.
Yeah, no, I
it's
think
still
they
paying
actually,
though, you know.
Yeah, I think they actually need to, like, you know, and they could hire like whatever 10 people to sit where bots are farming gold and just ban them over and over and over again. Make it to the point where they allow the bot to just barely get to max level and then immediately ban them, like whatever, just to make it so that it was too much of a pain in the ass, or make it at least a little bit more difficult. But Blizzard's not willing to spend any money on it at all.
Yeah.
And
they're not willing to lose the money on it too. I mean,
don't even get me started on my conspiracy theory that I came up with Blizzard and actually still selling gold anyways.
There's 2 people running the classic WoW. I think that's the reality. Like, I think there's only 2 people that are like interactive in classic WoW.
Honestly, guys, I think the reality is, like, they talked about they banned 500,000 accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do the math. $15 times 500,000. Like, that's millions of dollars. Okay. And so now, honestly, they probably even banned them like right around the time.
The 2 classic heads, right?
Well,
like that's how we get our team.
They probably banned them right around the time most of the accounts were just renewed. So then they know they're going to get a whole nother month of extra, you know, probably half of those subs back.
Was it 500,000 that they said that they banned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 500,000 or was it 100,000? Now I'm not.
I didn't know it was that many, but I mean,
I've got it in the notes.
They can throw whatever number out that they want out there. There's no way for that to be fact checked at all because we don't see sub numbers or anything like that.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. But like, if you just think about that, like, you're making so much money from them, if that's the case, anyhow, right? Like, so like,
well, I mean,
sorry, 120,000 bots banned. I got it here in the notes from that week.
Well, I mean, if Blizzard really wanted to make money on it, they could just make accounts on the gold selling sites and create characters and sell gold through the gold selling sites, right? I don't want to start a conspiracy theory here or anything like
There's
that.
There's some people that have that theory.
You know, I mean, what would stop it? What would stop them from doing it? And would you honestly be surprised if you found out they were doing it?
No, I mean, I think it's just it's a lot of money, like, and
they want to cut.
We definitely don't have an answer for it. We've talked about it many times, but I don't know. GDKPs are also pretty soulless. Like, if we're talking about trade chat, GDKPs, but like, if you're running the higher end ones, I mean, you're going to get to know a lot of the people in your GDKPs, like the ones that are running like all the hard modes and all that, you know, like you're going to actually like, it's kind of like a weird guild system. Like, it's interesting. Like, it's not a guild system, but it's like a, hey, this is our night of, you know, volleyball league system type of deal.
Mm-hmm. There are some GDKPs that have some really, really good players in them. That's just how they prefer to, you know, buy and sell their items. It kind of reminds me of the old GDKP, or sorry, the old DK, was it DKP?
Yep. Dragon kill points.
Dragon kill points system, but this is actually involving gold, but
Yeah, I am. I've ran GDKPs, and the kind of like my old guild ran like 2 or 3 GDKPs per week, and the rule was there's 2 types of players. There's the pumpers and there's the oilers. So you got to bring good players to be the pumpers to kind of carry people, and the oilers are the ones with all the gold that are going to make the pumpers show up every week because they want the gold. And if you have too many oilers, you wipe on everything. If you have too many pumpers, nobody's buying anything. So like I'm not giving anybody credit for this, but it's kind of an art to get a good balance.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Our guild ran a very really successful one through TBC, and I would go to it every week. This is me saying I hate GDKPs, but I was still going every week as a pumper because it was, I'd either go on my healer and just automatically, I was playing a priest and I would just automatically, they had a healer bonus as well for the top healer, and I would just win that every week. Or I'd go on my warlock and just win, like get top 2 or 3 DPS every week. So
yeah, but I did that all through the end of TBC, like just running the like last tier's raid on my main.
For sure. Well, the other thing my current guild does, and this isn't GDKP, but you could see how it might be also an issue with the gold buying, is we sell mim heads. So on Yogg 0, we'll bring in somebody that's willing to pay, and we'll get them the mim head, and they'll pay, I mean, sometimes 150K just to guarantee. And then I think someone last week bought an Elgalon kill. Like, I don't even know if they had any gear reserved, but they just wanted the Elgalon kill. And it sucks that people have to do that, but like some people still aren't clearing, hard modes, and
a lot of people still aren't. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's still over half of the guilds have not gotten 53 or 54, which means Algalon plus Yogg 1 is 53, Algalon plus Yogg 0 is 54, and half the guilds just haven't even done that, either of those.
The roster boss is killing people right now. People are leaving the game and they're just done. So
yeah.
It's really weird because I've run a bunch of different types of GDKPs, and recently I got to run with Pummel, and man, that was an awesome, just like fast pace, under 2 hour Yogg 1 plus Algalon. Like, it was sweet. Wiped like once, maybe twice.
Probably on Vesic.
Once on Vesic, yep. And then I think that might be it. Oh no, we wiped the first time on Algalon too, but then second time got it.
That's pretty normal though.
I mean, it was like
if you've got someone new doing stars and they're a little off on timings.
It was just like GDKP, like what? Like it was really cool.
It sucks though when you want something and you're not rich. Like I wanted Dark Matter on a 10-man, and I brought 30,000 gold, thinking like, hey, that's a lot of gold.
Right?
Someone bought it for 60K, and I was like, I'm not paying that. I mean, I'm getting it. I'm getting it in a week and a half. I'll be fine without it.
Right.
But yeah, it's frustrating when you're like, oh, cool, that thing finally dropped in a GDKP, and you're like, oh, I don't have the 100K to back myself in that, because I personally don't buy gold. I'm not a fan.
I mean, I don't either.
I don't criticize, but like,
I'd say like I don't buy gold, but I feel like for me to judge somebody is kind of a dickhead move, since I have like all day, every day to play. Like, who am I to say that if I worked, like a ton every week, and like maybe I would. I don't know. Like, so I don't judge anybody, but I just personally don't.
I make Bob bank me gold.
Glad I don't have to buy gold.
I have 8 tailors, so I'm good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
See,
I make a lot of just gold, like doing stuff in the game, like even doing old achievements, like that shit sells.
No, I don't have time for that.
It's not hard to generate gold. Go ahead. Sorry.
I have so much stuff in my bank that I could sell. I just don't have time. It's not going to happen. Bob gives me enough gold.
Titan Steel next week, when everyone's trying to get their Jeeves crafted, those are going to double in price for the first week, just so people can have a Jeeves. And so, yeah. Same
with bots. I was giving everybody the tip, like, get your repair bots now.
Oh, yeah. Same
like your
idea,
old,
too.
yeah, your old school ones. I have a bunch to sell day one.
I'm sitting on them, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah,
let's
so
get
you
to
could
this
make
other
those.
question. Let's get to this other question. Spent a lot of time on that, actually. Thank you for the question, Mega Man.
About the UI. Now, Scotty J made a video, and someone that does play Dragonflight, I recognize that UI anywhere. So, here's my thoughts on this, and curiosity to you. Bob, Mel, I know you both play Dragonflight a little bit, so you probably recognize that a little bit than most, so I'm going to ask you guys directly, and I do know you guys alter your UI anyway. And most people don't like the default UI, so if 90% of people are altering their UI anyway, and speaking from somebody that, yes, played from the default UI from Classic all the way to Dragonflight, I love the UI. And honestly, it's so hard to go back from Dragonflight to Wrath because of it. So I'm curious, would you be against them just copy and pasting the UI from Dragonflight to Wrath? And same thing with the auction house. Like, no one plays Classic for the UI. Anyway, that's pretty much my questions. Hope you guys have a good show. This is the Mega Casual.
Now,
Let me answer
I
this
don't-
real fast. 'Cause
yeah,
I
go
have
ahead.
I have a good opinion here. Yeah, I really don't give two hoots if they change the UI because I'm going to use the same UI I'm using right now anyways.
Mhm.
If I use the default UI, I may have more of an opinion, but I don't. And I
Mhm.
feel like I'm so used to what I'm using right now. It's not even like a preference thing at this point. I know my
Yeah.
UI doesn't look gorgeous, but it's what I'm used to. So if they change
I know
the
where
UI,
everything is, okay? It may look like
I
a mess
don't.
to you, but I know where everything is.
Yeah, no, I don't. I have a search
Well,
button though.
okay, see, I wouldn't care because basically they changed the UI to be basically Domino's, or bartender, which is what I
Mhm.
use. So like, but I think
Like
you're
built-in click too.
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah, I think he's really reaching those, saying that nobody or only 10% like that old UI. I've talked to numerous people
So
that
many
love
people.
that old UI and like the way it looks. Like they like to be able to like shrink it, but they like the little dragons at the edges and
Those
stuff.
things are so
Like,
stupid.
yeah, it's
some
awful.
people like it.
Man, that's
I'm
the
not.
first thing I do is remove those. I don't care
Yeah,
what's going on.
same.
They're gone.
Yeah, I get rid of them too. But I'm just a like hashtag no changes guy. So I
Hardcore, no
think-
changes.
I think it's
Yeah.
interesting. In Dragonflight, they essentially embraced bartender or even LUI or any of the bar systems. And this guy's like all through from beginning until retail's changed it. I've been using it. Why won't they adopt Dragonflight? And I'm like, why were you doing that to yourself? If you what happened was this guy. This is in my mind. This guy, everyone's like, "Oh, just use bartender," and he's like, "No, man, no, I refuse to use it. That's stupid. It should be in the game." And then Blizzard forces them to use a UI that's exactly like his friends have been suggesting for 10 years. And he's like, "Oh, this is amazing. They should include this in Wrath." And you're like, "Bro, we were all already using it in Wrath."
We already had it.
You're the guy who's like refusing to listen to his friends and say, it's like
What
that,
is-
like when you try to tell someone to like use this, like this guy Go. I don't know if you've ever met him.
Classic
I'm always
Go.
like, "Hey, check out these add-ons." He's like, "No, I don't
He's
do add-ons."
so adamant about it too.
He's the guy that's gonna be in Dragonflight going, "Look how great this UI is. They should."
Why did it
adapt
take them so long?
Why doesn't someone just make a Dragonflight add-on UI and then
There you go.
It probably exists.
it'd be
I bet
happy?
it
It
does.
probably does, yeah. Like then they'd be happy instead of forcing everyone to switch from what he doesn't like. He could just
Right.
use an add-on to
Mhm.
change it to what Dragonflight looks like. They've
Well-
got one for they've got like the Diablo one that Cargos uses that he made popular. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably out there somewhere, or someone could make it quite easily.
Mhm.
Well, chat's hitting on something that I often bring up. Like, everybody thinks I'm weird, but I don't like transmog. And I've been asking, like, if we go to Kata, like, please make it.
I thought you were going to say something else. I was like, you don't like what? And then you said transmogs. I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a huge fan of, like, if you put this stuff in the game, make it so you can just toggle it back and forth. Make
Mhm.
everybody happy. Like, if you put it in, and they've done it with like they did it with the gear quipper thing, right? Like you could either toggle it on or off, like, and like I'd love that. Like if they wanted to put the new graphics into the game, cool. Just make it so you could toggle it back and forth, you know, like so you could pick what you want. Transmog, all that stuff stored locally. You could easily have it to where I could be like, okay, transmog's on. So I'm going to go see this cool transmog competition. Okay, now I'm going back to the game, transmog off. Like, I think that's a great option for these types of changes. Just give both options. I don't think it could be that
like a
hard.
lot of work. Like they have both of them already, right? It's not like they're creating something new and then letting you use the old one. Like,
yeah, there would be probably a lot of bugs to work out with it, but I mean.
And you're also expecting Blizzard. You're also expecting Blizzard to spend money to develop that as well. So,
well, they had to take the client of Dragonflight and hide a bunch of UI tools that Classic can't have. They had to do the work for that. They could have instead done that, but put a toggle switch on it so they could just.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going through. Maybe it's easier than we're saying or harder. But yeah, I like the idea of just like flip a switch. I thought they were going to do that way back in the day with like our like the interface, like when you press escape and see all that stuff. Couldn't you switch between like the newer version and the older version? I don't know if that ever happened because I never used the old version, but I think at one point you could look at like the really old one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys are, when you guys say toggle, you mean like I as a player would be able to toggle what the other person looks like, right? As opposed to the other person having. Because
you'd be able to toggle it on your side so that like that you just see what
they're actually wearing.
Okay, yeah, you would see it'd just be like the game is now. And then if you toggle the option on, then you see everybody's transmog that they have chosen. Because I mean, all those it's all stored locally. Like it just has to like give it a code, like 1 for transmog, 0 for no transmog. You know, like I mean, I'm probably oversimplifying it, but
it feels like the game's running on binary code anyway, so that's probably that simple.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. I think that like it is. I do like the new Dragonflight. Like I mean, I like that. Like the way it looks and how you can move everything all over the screen. I mean, I only played Dragonflight for like 8 hours total, but.
I think I played the beta and I think I got to like level 5 and that was it for me. But I did see the UI and stuff like that. I noticed some of the differences.
I'm still thinking about going back and playing more because Blizzard. I mean, they sent me a huge box of crap, like a huge box of just stuff, and then 2 keys.
Are you saying you can be bought? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm just saying, I feel like I should play it some more because they were nice enough to send me all this cool stuff, like the book. It's like, I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. Like,
listen, they don't give 2 hoots if you play Dragonflight or if you play Classic, as long as you're paying your subscription and other people are coming to play the game. They don't care which one you're playing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they sent me because they sent me the stuff, I think, hoping I'd play on stream and talk about it on the podcast. So I did talk about it a lot, so I at least did that.
I've heard from a lot of people that are like, I want to try it. You know, like I think Scotty J said almost the exact same thing. I've paid for Dragonflight and I've yet to actually jump into the game. I know I never bought Dragonflight, but I'm hearing good things and it makes me kind of glance out of the corner of my eye like, I wonder what's going on over there.
I don't think he paid for Dragonflight. If they sent me a gift box, they definitely sent Scotty J a gift box.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Like, I think I was literally the last person on the list to get a gift box. Like, I was like, you know, Mr. Irrelevant.
Alphabetically, you like got in somehow, right?
For anybody that doesn't know what Mr. Irrelevant is, I'm sure Aladar can tell you.
I have no idea, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
In the NFL draft, the last person drafted each year is that year's Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, well, I mean, the Chicago Bears haven't won how long? When was the last time we had the last draft pick?
Yeah, who does? Because it's 7. So the last draft pick would be the Super Bowl winner, huh? Okay.
Well, doesn't it go like worst to first in every round now, or
It does, yeah. No, so it should still be the person. It should still be the person with the lowest record, although they get
It doesn't
traded
snake
away or
anymore?
anything. I don't think it. No, I don't think it. It definitely doesn't snake. No,
It
No, I
used
don't.
to.
I
no.
think it used to, but it's
It might have used to years ago, but I think you're thinking of when we did the Madden League, Mel, and we did the draft, the fantasy draft for our league. I used to run a Madden League for years with like real people playing teams, and we wouldn't want to. We just would draft every player, like, and throw them all into a. Okay, we're getting off on a non-WoW tangent here. All right,
Talk about irrelevant.
all right, Mel. We got our first review in months, like, on iTunes. So you want to read this?
Oh, sure. All right, Harry Lambert. Wonder if he's related to Adam Lambert. I'm just saying. He says, look no further. Stop searching, guys. If you love WoW Classic, then you found it. This is the one to listen to on your commute throughout the week. Episodes are long enough that you can get multiple work trips in, and the conversation is like being in dis with a guild. What I mean is relatable and multiple opinions with well thought out answers. I enjoy the sectional audio clips where they have a soundbite play for the news and other topics. The guests are usually great and diverse, and Mel and Bob, good job, are legit. Everyone that plays and loves WoW Classic also will really enjoy the vibe that cast brings. Give it a shot. Can't say enough nice things. Really helps to scratch that itch in between working and playing. Shout out to the druids of the world for the horde. There you go. Just for you, Grifton.
Sweet. I should represent my druidness a little more. I feel like I should have like a little druid floating on the screen or something.
You do have a druid icon on your nameplate there.
Oh, there you go. That works.
Look at that.
I know, but I feel like I should like lean into it, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
really like dress up
Like
as a druid.
you should be a druid. Yeah.
Live that furry lifestyle. Yeah.
I think you can pull it off. Done.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to be told.
He's like, I don't know if that was a compliment or.
Yeah.
I was so expecting to throw Mel off more with that knock there, but I guess I didn't.
No. Okay. You did it all last night.
Oh, true. Dang it. All right. Well, thank you for your review, guys. What have we been doing lately in WoW? Who wants to go?
You're asking what we're doing in WoW?
Yes, sir.
We're all raid logging, aren't we?
Well, I usually play
now.
quite a bit.
I'm
of
out
Wrath.
roaming the world, trying to discover new areas and land.
I do a whole bunch of like old school achievements and crap. Like, so like TBC, I raid logged and played hardcore, but I really enjoyed like just the achievement stuff in Wrath. So I do a lot of weird stuff, mount hunting during the day and stuff too.
Hey, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, I am a weirdo. But I raid log 3 different characters, so I only play the one for achievements because they don't link achievements, which annoys me. But
I'd let's see, I'd leveled a druid to 80 on a horde druid to 80 on benediction just to world PK people with.
Oh no!
And I did that for several weeks, but I was finding that 80% of the people I was coming across were just bots.
Were they?
It was like, okay, this isn't really all that much fun. And then
people call me a bot all the time.
Doing your part to kill the gold farmers.
When I'm doing stuff, in the world, they call me bots all the time. I get tells and I just don't answer them.
And then the people that were actually people, like probably 1 in 5 of those would log on to a horde character and just freak out. Like, what do you do? Oh, what the hell? Because they're not used to seeing horde people at all on the server.
Oh, yeah.
So, but other than that, I've been playing a lot of hardcore. So I'm in
like
my
everybody
30s now on my Warlock. Yeah. I think it's just it's crazy how it's even more popular now than it was back
in Road to Rag.
Like Road to Ragnaros. It's more popular now. It's more popular than what it was like back in vanilla. But I've been doing that, and I've been playing on the White Main PvP Classic Era server as well. And that's just I logged on
Hardcore
there.
on a PvP server?
No. This is just
Oh.
another.
No,
I was
yeah.
like,
I've been logging
wow.
up.
So Mel,
Brave.
the classic era
Next level.
server that's like popping now is our old server white
yeah.
bane. So I still have
Got it.
my 60 warrior with full T whatever 3 or whatever it is, like although I don't have the big, I got a sword from Nax, but I don't have the big mace from KT, which sucks, but he pumps in PvP.
You can like log on during primetime hours and go stand in like near one of the banks, and you'll be blown away with how busy it is. Like,
I've logged in a few times because chats told me that, and I'm like, damn, this is popping. Not as popping as hardcore though. I was playing in Lochmadan on my warlock yesterday. I got like a level 17, 16 warlock or something like that. I think he just turned 16, but I was like having trouble. Like I was like, I can't like tag the mobs. Like everybody's tagging them so fast because there's just people everywhere.
People are dying for Classic, man. Classic. If they relaunch Classic Fresh servers, I'm hoping they do a Classic Fresh hardcore as well as a Classic Fresh like just a regular. Hashtag no changes, of course, but I mean it will absolutely pop off. It won't be as popular as the first time they did it, but it'll be still really popular. Like I would not doubt that they'd need at least 10 servers per region. So
I think that they could get away with it now. I thought the first season of Mastery was definitely too soon, in my opinion. I did play a ton of hardcore during it, but I think hardcore is what saved the start of season of Mastery.
Have you guys heard the leaked announcement for that?
Next week or something.
May 13th.
Yeah.
May 13th, they're going to announce hardcore servers.
I honestly don't think it's going to be hardcore servers. I think it's going to be hardcore mode on the current servers. I don't think you're going to see Classic Fresh while Wrath is still running, because if they announce Classic Fresh servers, Wrath is done. Like literally everyone I know that's still playing Wrath is just raid logging, and they're just waiting for, like, they will immediately jump to Classic Fresh. I've got a very stable raid. I don't have to worry about replacing people every week. We're not fighting the roster boss. If Classic Fresh came out, I think my guild would be done.
Really?
See,
Yeah.
I think TOC is the perfect time to bring it out. I've been saying it in like the creator Discord forever. Like, you know, they're asking about like thoughts and different things. I'm like, dude, don't start it until TOC. TOC is going to be dead. It's a good time to get all those people in. You know, even the people like me that raid on 3 or 4 different characters, like we're going to have time, you know, like, so it is a good time, but I think it's going to be hardcore servers. I think really do.
I think you'll have people quit Wrath in droves if they have Classic Fresh now.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's okay for Blizzard, because all they care about, in my opinion, is that for
sub. Yeah.
Yep.
$14.99. And as long as you're just going to another server, they're like, yeah, cool, good on it. But don't hold me to that. But apparently May 13th is the announcement. So
yes, and I would it's going to be on Sarth's stream. Just heads up, guys.
So everybody knows it, but we don't like. You know when it is. He's heard it.
I can't say. If I knew, I couldn't say even if I did. But
fair. I
don't think anybody actually knows any dates or anything like that. I think people have been involved in conversations with Blizzard on what they would want for hardcore stuff. Don't know what those would entail or not, but like, I think that's happened. Can't confirm or deny, but I know definitely the big announcement is on Sarth's stream Saturday, right after Saturday the 13th, right after the Hardcore All Stars finale finishes up. So I would definitely tune in for that, and
I would too.
Yep, that's all we really know at the moment. I mean, I can't say if I know anything or not. I just I don't know anything. Just say that.
I have no obligations. I don't know anything either, but I've heard rumors.
Yeah,
you You can tell me and I'll announce it. I don't care if they get mad at me or not.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've got an idea of what's
because
coming, but
Sarth
like
said
definitely
something
nothing.
very similar. Sarth said very similar to what you said, where he can either confirm or deny, but if you're interested in hardcore, you should definitely be on May 13th. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
and I feel like it's going to be a big one because I feel like they're also going to announce. Well, yeah, we can talk about that in the news. We'll talk about that in the news.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
hardcore
this
is popping off hard. I've started playing a little bit back on my Warlock. Have you guys? I've got 2 hardcore 60s, one duo druid and one solo rogue. Have you guys completed the challenge? Or Glyph, do you even play hardcore?
I did hardcore. I did a couple of like the races. But the one time I was like fully committed, I took time off to do it. Like I didn't have any plans that day. We got to oh my god, where Goldshire is, that area, and a level 60 was going around killing all the NPCs, so we couldn't turn any quests in, and it tainted it so much for me that I have legit not logged back in because
Cargos HC. Yeah, that's not Cargos, by the way, guys. Just let you know.
Everyone knew it was just some guy trolling, but like, so oh man, it really took the wind out of the sails too. That
guy came after me when I was doing the what are they in the northwest corner of the Barrens, the Harpies. He came after me when I was in the middle of the Harpies, so he had like 8 of them that he was trying to feign death right beside me, and I managed to swift pot out of there, and he didn't get me, but it's all part of the game.
Yeah, and
some of my funnest moments were with griefers in hardcore. I remember this one rogue that was using the gnomish, like where it can take control of mechanical devices, and I was in Westfall, and I mean, like, he did it to me one time, and I just sprinted the other direction, vanished, kept going, zigzagged, so he like couldn't find me. Like I was and my heart, like I had like whenever I play hardcore, I put my heart monitor on the on stream, and my heart's like just going a million miles a minute, and it's just like, I think if you had true hardcore servers, griefing would be more respected and more fun, like because griefers have a chance to die too, right?
Yeah.
So like you could respect it.
Yeah, I've mentioned that on stream several times. I don't have a problem with the griefers, especially if they come out with fresh hardcore servers, where if you die for any reason, you just can't res. Like you can't, you just go to the ghost and you just sit there, and there's no option to res, and you can't be resed in game as well. That would give the griefers that risk as well.
Yep.
So that you'd probably see less. But like Bobby, remember back to UO where you had PKers when they brought in like murder stats or whatever, where you could go red. The griefers are just going to group up. It won't just be one group you're coming. They'll have like 20 griefers that come into an area because there's safety in numbers.
Dreadlords, right? Or wait, Dread. No, it was Dark Lord, then Dreadlord. Yeah. Yeah. That was a great, that was a great. I loved UOs. So good. Oh my gosh. I could talk forever about it.
But if they make it so that the griefers could die, then I let them grief.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that's what would be so great about a hardcore server is it really does open up different play styles. Like you might have a group of 60s going around trying to kill low levels, but then you've got another group of 60s chasing the group 60s trying to kill lower levels. You know, like, and so you've got this
saving their lower levels,
multi-tiered fight going on in some zone that should only have level 20 mobs, you know?
Could you imagine a Torn Mill war with a bunch of like griefers and anti-griefers and stuff like that?
Oh God.
Yeah, could you imagine it? Because you don't want to die. So you're you know, you're 1 foot in kind of thing, easing, but you know, still trying to like make a dent. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, during those Torn Mill days, was good to be a caster. I'll just say that though. Like I just remember the warriors running in, dying immediately. You know, like rogues would pick off people off at the side, but poor warriors and stuff would just go in there and just blah.
Oh, poor warriors, poor classic warriors. They had a rough
That was a time. Okay, that was a time. That was before Molten Core even released. Like we didn't know warriors had the potential that they had. I mean, that wasn't until late AQ40 Naxa Ramus that people really understood warriors were bis. Like it was all rogues as your DPS, rogues and mages.
In classic?
In vanilla, real vanilla.
Early vanilla, yeah.
Yeah, classic we knew because of all the private servers and everything else.
There's another level there too, though. When we
World
played
buffs.
when we played classic, well, not just that, but when we played classic, we got the final version of the game. Whereas if you went back in vanilla, as each patch came along, the mechanics were slightly different, or the playstyles were modified a lot, especially
even entire talent trees were completely reworked and changed.
The druids were all over the place.
Just think kings
crazy.
used to be the last thing in ret tree. So you'd have to have a ret to have kings for your raid.
You just wouldn't have kings.
I mean,
it might have even just been your group. No, it was raid. I can't remember if it was raid or group. It was just group, wasn't it?
Nobody had kings. Is basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
I played Horde. I played Horde. We definitely didn't have kings. So
yeah.
True. I played Horde TBC through Kata originally, and Alliance.
Bloodlust you talk about?
Heroism.
Yeah, in classic, I was Alliance, so we didn't have Bloodlust. We didn't have Wind Fury Totem.
Dude, we still call lust in our
kings
in our guild, and it drives Yip nuts. He's like, it's heroism. We're like, lust now.
It's bloodlust, man.
It'll never not be lust.
If you could, if you could shorten,
it's like
heroism to
saying,
one syllable. I bet we would still use it, but lust is too easy to say.
No, it'd be like somebody saying, "Hey,
let's go."
They're like, "Hey, would you like to come run a Titan Rune Dungeon with me?" Nobody says that. Nobody says, "Would you like to come run a Titan Rune Dungeon?" Everybody says, "Do you want to do heroic?"
Heroic
what do you think the lingo is going to be now?
Heroic plus.
You've got but the thing is, it's supposed to be like Blizzard named them Alpha and Beta, but nobody uses that terminology.
Yeah.
Well, and
now we're calling it Heroic plus.
On the PTR in the
he will not change my mind.
These dogs.
It's probably why they did the alpha and beta, right? Because they were like, well, when the next one comes out, we're gonna have to call it something different.
Okay, so sorry. What I was gonna say is that on PTR right now, if you open up the looking for group tool, you have heroic, alpha protocol, beta protocol. They're actually completely separate now, so you don't have to put in your note that you're going to run heroic plus, or you know what I mean. Like you could just search for that version, which I thought was a pretty cool change. But that's in the news. Do we have anything else that we did? I read a bunch of raids. Ratings getting much quicker. We got like an hour and 40-minute Old War clear in our weekday raid. All hard modes plus Algalon, but it was only Yogg 1. We still haven't even tried Yogg 0. Just the mount is not intriguing everybody to like give it a shot. But now that we have now that we had like 20 minutes left this last time, like maybe we'll start to do it if we can, progress it still on one night, So maybe we'll give it a shot.
I don't think Yogg 0, man, I want to get roasted.
It's like all tanks, right?
That much harder.
It's like all the tanks.
There's a little, there's changes here and there. Like you're taking more damage, especially phase 1. As a melee, you can't just chill in the middle. Like you see a lot of warriors like, no, it's fine. And then they get clapped. But yeah, phase 3, you've got to manage the adds. But if you've got some DKs and the tanks know what they're doing, it's literally just the exact same fight to you. You know, just go, 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 go. And when they start yelling army, just panic. You know, when your raid leader says army, 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 that means something went wrong, and you're just hoping to finish them off.
Lost.
Go, 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 go.
Dude, as a tank, I hate army.
I do too.
It confuses the crap out of me. Like, I'm just like, what's going on? Why can I not do this? Like, what the hell?
And like when they pop them on a tank that can be taunted, and you're like, oh my god, like what are you doing?
Yeah, like every end of heroic Violet Hold early on in Wrath, when you had a DK, you had to be like, dude, do not pop army, please. You're gonna get our freaking healer breathed on and just wipe the whole run.
Yeah. Yeah, when the boss is just spinning in circles, especially as a feral. If you guys have never played a feral, you
have to be behind,
can't do
right?
good damage like if you're not from behind. So you see me like trying to like shift behind the boss while he's oh my god, and all I'm doing is swearing like I hate DKs. I hate DKs. Oh my god, it's
Hero
the worst.
class.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh.
Exactly.
All right. Well, do we want to? We good? Anybody
You
else
don't
have
want to hear
anything
about
else?
my week? You don't want to hear about my week?
Yeah.
I
Let's
did
hear
the
about it.
children's event.
Oh yeah, we did. That was really fast. Thank God, because like I am really holidayed out.
You had like a week to do it though, so like they didn't give you much time, so it better have been fast. But yeah, at least it wasn't one of those where I had to go like put something on different race class combinations. Those are really annoying.
Yeah, like
People in Wintergrasp hate me.
I'm so done with the holiday stuff. Like it's been kind of cool because back in the day I never did any of that because I cared about raiding and PvP, and that was it. Like I wasn't
I feel
gonna
like
do.
the last few holidays have come like really like rapid succession here. I feel like we're ramping up the pace.
I mean, Children's Week. I don't know if that's a holiday.
Right?
It's kind of messed up too. Like you get all these.
I won't do it.
Well, you get
You
all
have a
these
whistle.
treats, and you
have a
have to eat
whistle
them.
Blow a whistle for
Oh,
your
yeah.
Summon
orphan.
children.
Yeah, you
For
summon
your
children with a
orphan to
whistle.
come hang out, and then you're supposed
Yeah.
to eat chocolate and candy in front of him. Like that's one of
Yeah.
the achievements is
Yeah.
that you eat 10 pieces of
It'd
chocolate
be one thing
in
if
front
you
of
gave
the
it to him. Like if you gave it to him, like that would be great. But instead, you're like, it sucks to suck.
I know Blizzard's trying to be all like politically correct, but they just like overlook the whole child labor
I
law,
know.
child slavery
Right.
thing. They're like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
At least
That's
they
not-
took the BGs out of
In the
it.
news right now, nobody's talking about
Yeah.
child labor anymore. We gotta.
You can't say hysteria, but
They took
but
the
we'll completely allow.
they took
Look at
the
orphans with
BGs out.
whistles and nobody cares.
They took the BG achievement out, so at least you're not scarring them for life watching, you murder, the horde over and over again.
Yeah,
God.
you killed that cow. Don't worry, I'll do like 40 more before we're done.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. It just in taking them into a dungeon, endangering them. Like, I mean, it's just, it's.
It was a different time, guys. It was a different time. Okay,
I didn't even do the event, so I
can't.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was
You
actually
didn't
pretty
torment
easy.
easy. Like the-
orphans last
it-
week?
It's
Come
not the
on.
joke. It's
What are you
not
doing?
fun. It's not
It
fun.
actually-
That's the problem.
it actually took me a minute or two to realize you guys were talking about some in-game event. I thought it was like some local thing you guys were doing, like at
No,
home.
achievements,
I was like,
achievements.
what are you guys talking about
No.
here?
He's like, where do
Yeah.
they live? They still have child labor and orphans
Seriously.
and chocolate.
This is some weird Kansas City stuff. I've never heard of this holiday before.
If it were going to happen anywhere, it'd be in Kansas City. Yeah.
No. Get out of
Oh
here.
my gosh. Kansas City's one of the fastest growing cities. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
We had the draft here, dude. The draft.
I live in a
Sweet.
growing city. I live in the largest non-big city. Yeah.
Where's that?
Okay.
Columbus.
Ohio?
Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a city? What? No, not
It is, but it's not a big city. It doesn't have like the New York, Chicago, LA.
Kansas
It's like one of
City,
the biggest of the.
you know.
Well, yeah, you just named the three huge ones. Like,
Yeah,
like New York and Chicago are like a whole different world. Like, and then and then LA is like just sprawled
We're
out.
on
It's
a
very
time
weird.
crunch, though.
Yeah,
we have
it's weird
to-
that LA
yeah,
gets
true.
grouped because it doesn't feel like a city the way that New York and Chicago do.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on to time for the news. All right, so most of this news is kind of around the PTR, but they're doing some interesting stuff. The first thing on the news is they are they opened up a new forum just for Wrath of the Lich King Phase 3, where they're going to just like have just discussion on Phase 3 in it. I thought that was interesting. That they're like, because I didn't think that they were going to like change any of TOC like they did Ulduar, but with this, it makes me wonder if they are, because it seems like they're like wanting to have a lot of ideas in this forum instead of just bug stuff. Any thoughts?
Have they done this before?
I don't think they have. I don't remember them doing like making a new one.
Not for previous PTRs. I don't. Didn't they have like a testing forum or something like that though? Is this actually a forum that's going to be used for suggestions on what they can do to change the raid, or?
I'm not sure. It says this
Says discuss the Wrath Classic test environment with other players.
Yeah, and it's like actually on the BNet site. Like it's actually a new actual whole forum for it. I thought this was interesting, and I don't know what the
They
point
haven't really
is.
put up any contested changes though, like that would be worth discussing. Like,
Yeah.
are there people going,
Yeah.
"Oh, munching? No, we like that. Let's keep it."
Well, but
You know what
that's
I mean? Like,
but that's a character thing. This seems to be like that's a class thing, right? This seems to be
sure,
about the raid, and I'm just like, I don't think they were
maybe
planning on.
Well, just to give some insight, apparently one of the top guilds has already cleared an hour ago. Had already cleared TOGC heroic 3 times. Like they'd created characters, they've already done it 3 times.
I'm sure it's gonna be
and
fast.
I'm not saying that like everyone's gonna be able to have that kind of speed, like in week 1 or anything like that. Because remember, we're not over geared on the PTR. We're just whatever we brought over is what we get. So I don't know if
We're
maybe
kind
that's
of
for future
over-geared.
discussion of like a buff. It is kind of over geared.
Well-
So maybe they're looking into buffing Ulduar. Because
Because
you guys
of the
do
item
Titan
level
Rune?
changes.
You mean, yeah,
the item
because
level
of the
changes
item
for
level
Ulduar.
changes, we are super buffed compared to like when people played this back in the day. Super buffed.
So-
like,
Okay, have you guys done the Titan Rune for TOC, the 5-man?
no,
Okay,
we're doing
so the
PTR
Titan
testing
Rune-
tonight.
They throw stuff on the ground. That's like the added thing. So like there's bananas, there's hunter traps, there's like a bloodlust or a berserk or whatever you want to call it. There's a healing thing, and you can run over them and pick them up. And they last for a minute or different times, but some of them are bad, some of them are good.
Like Mario
That
Kart.
kind of sounds kind of
Yeah.
fun.
But the thing is, the heroic or like the raid uses the same layout, the same design. It's in the same room. So I'm wondering if they're saying, hey, we want to see how that goes, and if we like it, we might introduce it to the raid, because that would be an extra thing to just make the raid have more mechanics. I don't know.
Can we just talk about all the
it.
guild
And make
leaders being
more,
like, don't slip on the banana peels, guys. Don't slip on the banana peels. Everybody avoid banana peels.
Or everybody trying to get the buffs, like can make some cheesing things huge.
Even in 5-man, we were fighting for the berserks. Like I was sprinting over and stealing them from other other DPS. Like no, mine. But yeah,
This
I
could
could
get
see it.
contentious.
Yeah, I could see it.
Could
Get
definitely get a little
like,
weird.
Hot. Yeah.
How long do you guys think it'll be until Trial of Crusader comes out? How long do you think this testing is going to last for?
I think
You know,
it'll come out
I don't
in
know.
early June.
Yeah, I think it'll be about a month, probably.
I think a month sounds about right. But I mean that kind of brings us to the next piece of news is that this time they gave us a straight up timeline of when we can test stuff, like Trial of the Crusader Raid Round 1, May 5th through May 8th. Isle of Conquest, May 11th through, for 2 hours on May 11th. That's the new BG, guys. The Titan Rune Dungeons, May 12th. And looks like it'll just be active May 12th, and they don't have a planned end time. Trial of the Crusader Round 2, May 19th through May 22nd, which makes me think just a week or two after that last test, makes me think that that'll be when it goes live.
The debate I have is they put that out. Oni is already live. The Titan Rune Dungeons, as far as I know, are already live. So I don't know why. Maybe it was just the TOC Titan Rune Dungeon that was live, but we were able to do it. I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, how accurate is that? Did they have an idea and then they just didn't implement it correctly?
They're like, this is what it's going to be. Maybe, like we might do something different too. So here's your schedule.
Yeah, because Oni's fun. Have you guys done Oni?
I haven't even been on the PTR yet.
Did you do original Oni?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
I did, yeah.
It's the same thing, except there's like an ad now. That's it.
Oh wait, original. I don't know if I did original Oni in Wrath.
Had to have. If you were there in Classic, it was kind of the only thing you could do for a while, because like it was MC Oni, and you're like, well.
Oh no, she's talking about in
Classic,
Wrath.
Classic.
Yeah, she's talking about in Wrath. She doesn't know if she's went there. Me and Go and Willow 3-manned it, and like.
I did Oni with you not that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so then you did it in Wrath.
Yeah, there's a new version coming out though.
Yeah, but the new version. I don't know if I've done the new version.
We did the new version a few times back in the day. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember if I did.
So you think if it comes out, say, in just a little over a month, then if it's testing ends on the 22nd, I think I would think that the earliest it would come out is the 8th of June, probably maybe that or the week after. How long do you think that phase is going to last until ICC comes out?
Hopefully not too long, depending on the announcement that's coming. The announcement that's coming could make me be like, okay, with a long TOC, just being able to raid log that and get things moving in vanilla. Maybe a season of mastery, or maybe just playing hardcore characters. Like, I've been bummed because this last hardcore jump, like, I haven't played because I'm raiding on so many different, tunes, and now raiding would be easy for this part, and I could get my hardcore fill and then come back for, hardcore playing in ICC. I don't know. That's how I feel about it, but
I feel like it'll probably be like 3 or 4 months.
If it's 3 or 4 months, I think it's going to be bad.
I think.
Why, you think that's too long?
I think
TOC is.
This is a dinky raid, dude.
30-minute raid though. Like
everyone's going to be clearing at week 1.
It's dinky AF, man.
You still have to have time to do it enough times to get the gear for.
The trophies. They take
the gear, right?
There's a lot of stuff that's good. That's from Old War that's going to still be BIS because of the way it's itemized. I mean, you're only jumping up 6 eye levels on a lot of the gear to 258. If you have a ton of 252 gear, like, it's a little lackluster.
I have a really hard time thinking that it will be any less than 3 months.
I agree because of the cloak. Your pumper raids are going to start getting the cloak like week 1, week 2, week 3. But like struggling raids, you're going to see 1 cloak a month maybe. And if you only have 3 months and only 3 or 4 of your raiders have the BIS cloak, it's going to get really messy when you get to ICC. Because I do think they're going to try to give ICC a lot of time to breathe. But like,
I'll say one thing though
That
about the cloak. I am so happy that it's a wipe that is this mechanic instead of like an undying type of deal, because the amount of people that took shit for that first person to die in Nax when you're doing an undying run, that just feels bad for those people, man. I was that guy
I love
once.
that moment though.
I was that guy once, and like it felt so. It was in just. It wasn't for immortal. It was for undying. It was a 10-man. I made a short of it. It's the only short that we have on our Mash Those Buttons channel. But it's me on what's his name? The guy where you get positive and negative.
Thaddeus?
Yeah, Thaddeus. And I'm sitting there going, who's killing us? Somebody's on the wrong side. Oh God, it's me. And then I'm running over and I kill somebody and I'm like, oh no. And then you can hear one of the people in the raid go, no, there goes our undying. To be fair, I didn't know we were working on undying, but like nobody had died yet. So it would have been just an early undying run that I screwed up. But like that shit feels bad. So I like that it's like it's wipes, it's full wipes, but
yeah, there is an undying achievement, but it's not attached to the cloak, which is what people care about. I mean, some people want the achievement, so it is what it is, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty cool that they like told us straight up when the tests are going to happen, because I'll tell you, getting this show together, like during weeks that PTR are on, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed that it's not a full week long. Because there's like my guild, for example, we raid on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and the PTR is not even up. We one night full clear Old War, so we could have, if we were going to do PTR, gone in on a Wednesday or something like that. But to try and get everyone to go in on a Friday or Saturday night or something, it's just people that have already committed to 2 nights a week. They're just not going to be able to go.
That is kind of rough.
100% agree.
It opens it up to only the hardest of hardcore that can change up schedules.
One was 2 days after the announcement too. It's not like they gave you a heads up for this one. And I'm out of town on the 19th, so like it's either this weekend or nothing.
I'm still really
on a weekend.
And the 19th is also a weekend, right? Yeah, I mean, why not have like the second test run through the weekdays, a couple weekdays? That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still really annoyed that they have each phase come out on a Thursday as well, like that. The first time they did that, I just
I've gotten used to it.
And do we need to do it now that China isn't a thing for World of Warcraft? Like, do we need to do it?
I mean, there's still other countries. Like
is
Europe,
that why they were doing
Pacific
it on Thursday, or why?
Yeah, the reason they do it on a Thursday is because they have to wait for all the servers to recycle, and some of them don't recycle till Wednesday. So they just pop it on. It's a world active at the same time on a Thursday. Yeah. Yeah.
Well.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm annoyed now that you point that out. I kind of forgot, but it is annoying that like 2 days ago they said, "Hey, it's going to be out for 3 days," and then we're turning it back off. And then yeah,
you make a really good point. Nobody's made on the show yet. Is that like, why do they just do it over the weekend? Like, why don't they like have different times that they do it so it can try to include everybody? It's a really good point.
And it's the same every phase as well. Like it's always Tuesday and Wednesdays. They never have the PTR really open or anything like that. And we were, I mean, first week of when Nax was available, we went one night full cleared everything. We could have gone into the PTR like we did at night one, and like most people did for Nax anyways. But it would have been nice if we wanted to go into do PTR when it finally came out, but they just never. It was never out on a Wednesday.
I wonder if they like look at their internal numbers and they see the majority of people raid Tuesday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday or something like that, and then they're like, they're just like, okay, well, like we'll just like go ahead and run it when people aren't raiding normally. That would be my guess.
That goes against the concept of heroic versus regular. They're like, we don't want you raiding every day of the week, so we're only going to let you do regular or heroic 25. Except when it comes to PTR, we want you guys to burn out on it.
It could be even higher. It could be it could be Bobby's fault. It could be Bobby saying, well,
Bobby wants to raid on Thursdays.
no, it could be him saying, well, if we run the testing Friday through Sunday, that means our people might work over the weekend.
What?
Let's do that.
No, what's going to happen is nobody's going to get any of the feedback until Monday.
Dude, no,
So,
I mean,
then they're going to extend the PTR.
There's a handful of the devs that go into all the like big guys streams and stuff like
I'm just kidding.
like they're basically working overtime on the weekend. Like they're
especially when the PTR's up there, they've got people watching nonstop.
You
my
know-
point was though that there's a large portion of people that they can't even jump on the PTR even if they want to, just because they raid their 2 nights of the week and they're just too busy the rest of the nights. Like,
yeah, I think you make a good point.
Kids, whatever. So, so for like me as an example, if I had a job at nights, like I wouldn't be able to go, or there's other people that they specifically can only raid on those particular days. They can't raid a third day. They can't raid a fourth day. So now that everyone should be one night full clearing anyways, if they would have had the PTR up for 7 days, the guilds would have their second night of raid to actually go and try and do PTR if they wanted to. There's a lot of
That's a
people.
really good point.
There's a lot of people out there that they just do not want to do PTR anyways.
For sure.
You know, they want to experience it when it first comes out. So.
Yep, I'm not
And
usually a
I don't
PTR
wanna grind.
person
I don't want
either.
to grind
but-
PTR. I don't mind going in and like seeing it, but like I'm not one that wants to like perfect it on PTR just for it to come out so that I can raid blog. Like that just sounds miserable.
This PTR is different for me than most. Like I always play a bunch of beta, and I love that. But I usually don't do PTR at all. But this one, I feel like we could be ready to have it farm day one, and like I'm okay with that. Like Ulduar, I didn't want to do that. I enjoyed the way we did Ulduar. We did 2 hard modes a week, progressed on those, got the rest of the raid done, and then we usually drop 2 each week. Yeah, it was easy for people to take in because they just were looking into like the 2 different hard modes rather than trying to give each hard mode a try. Like they were, hyper focused on that one. And it was just a fun time week to week. We were doing something new every week. It was the most fun progression I've done in Classic so far. But like, I feel like this is one I'd like to just have on farm day one.
You didn't have fun on Muru in TBC?
We did. We only had 2 warlocks for a bit, and then we got 3. But if we had like 5, we would have had such an easier time. But we dropped Muru. I forget exactly when. We dropped it earlier than most, though. We were in like
we dropped Muru, and then we kept wiping on like every week. We'd have stupid wipes on that one boss that had like the frost breath. You know what I'm talking about? Where you had to like go from side to side.
Yeah, what's the I don't remember the
Dragon
you're talking
flies
about-
in the air.
Oh, that one? Yeah. I think Twins was the worst,
stupid
though.
wipes.
Twins
No,
was
but
the
we'd have-
worst.
Twins was still kind of hard though. Like this boss was just like
Twins was RNG
people-
and shit. Like, it was annoying.
yeah, but this boss was just like people checking out and like not paying attention and dying and like being like,
Yeah,
oh.
You're talking about Felmist, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
After Brutalis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had
Yep.
stupid wipes on that boss, and it was so annoying. And then we'd go one-shot Muru, and it'd be like, "Come on, guys, get it together."
I mean, it was just
what do you-
weird that the more locks you added, the crazy, like, it just got infinitely easier with each set of locks. And with 2 locks, it was almost undoable. Like 3 was, I think, the minimum, and you kind of were shooting for 5, like if you wanted to drop it early. But
I hated tanking Muru. I tanked
I
it,
bet.
and it was so frustrating because you had that wall, and the ads would come in, and they'd already start generating threat before you could even touch them, and then you you have to swipe, mangle maul, tab, swipe, and then drag them, and then you're just dragging them around while like you've got somebody. Oh my god, it was the most stressful thing to tank, because if you screwed up one of your hits and a healer just gets beelined and you can't get the taunt off in time, the healer's one shot, like they're dead, and no one's going, oh well, they're going, Glyph, you messed up, man. Why do you suck?
I
at
had
the
to
game?"
rebind.
Bro.
I had to rebind Fade for that boss. You know,
Yeah.
it was like one of those abilities that I hadn't used in so long because it never mattered. Like I never pulled threat, and like since I was in like 5-man dungeons, right? Like 5-man dungeons leveling up, I would pull threat and I'd have to use it. But since then, I was like, oh yeah, where's that?
I had one warlock that would always take my, like, you know how you had to enslave the demon. I was left, and he'd always take mine. And I'm like, dude, you're back. And he's like, well, I couldn't click on one. I was like, okay, well, that's not my problem. Stop taking mine.
This is like Bob and Yogg when somebody takes his portal.
Dude, it drives me nuts.
I've gotten over it because I've accidentally stole someone's portal before. But like when someone takes your portal, it's like, as long as it's the portal you have to click is just the one next to you and they just grabbed. But like I've had ones where like the open portal is like 4 portals away and you're like, how did you screw it up that much?
And then the guy that, like, when you're all running from the back of the room to the brain, there's that one guy that's always just in there. And you're like, oh, okay, he got in a late portal, you know. But then you go down the second time and he's right there again on the brain while the rest of you are running. You're like, that asshole didn't go kill any tentacles, did he?
And his
I've never
sanity's
been
at
in the
like
brain room.
99. His sanity's up at 99. You're like, come on, man. I'm only at 46. I had to kill those stupid ads for you. Oh.
The worst is if it's a rogue, you're like, dude, you could have just cloaked and like saved us so much time over here. But oh man,
you guys, there's times on Yogg where like I'll get down to like 24 sanity, like start a phase 2, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I just got like maladied 7 times. I get like all these like random things that take my sanity down, and I'm like, okay. Or like people are spreading the malady, so like I'd see a malady and I'd start to run the other way, run into somebody else with the malady, and I'm like, how do I avoid you people? Like, what are you doing?
All right, well, the next piece of news is Wrath of Lich King in PTR now has the Dragonflight Client. And all that I've heard so far that is different is the menu options are the new ones. So we're gonna have to go through and see over time, like, what's changed, like if there's any new options we didn't have before. I don't know of any at the moment. If any of you know, you can speak up, or we can just go on to the next as well to let people know.
I couldn't find anything. Everything is in a different spot, and I couldn't find raid profiles. So I don't know if they just didn't re-implement that yet, or if I just couldn't find it.
Okay,
I haven't been on the PTR at all yet, so
okay,
I haven't either.
Cool. All right. Now this next piece of news, Glyph, I bet you want to talk about this. Glyph of Omen of Clarity added. So the change that was made back a few weeks ago that made feral DPS better than combat rogues.
Just barely though. Just barely.
Okay.
A little anger there. I'm sensing.
Yeah. I don't have a freaking battle res or an innervate or a.
It's fair.
Okay, but so so that change.
Does have innervate? Is that it? I'm just kidding. Now innervate all the time.
Now that change has been done, they're now making it so that change is only active with a new glyph that you add, which I think that you actually suggested this in one of your videos.
The most downloaded video I made.
Are you regretting suggesting this now?
No.
Yeah. Well, it was probably downvoted because people don't look at what could make the game better. They look at what could make them better. And then like you saying
there's a lot
nerf.
of druids that watch your videos.
Yeah.
And they're like,
no. And I knew I was going against the grain, but at the same time, and I made this statement at the beginning, and I think it holds true. Blizzard had already made it clear they plan to nerf us in some way. And instead of letting them mess it up, which I felt like is what they did with the naturalist debuff or the naturalist change they made, I wanted to be proactive and say, listen, if you're looking for a minor debuff or a minor nerf to us, here's what you do. You force us to give up one of our good glyphs for the opportunity to have Feral Fairy Fire 100% proc. It shaves just enough off to put us back into a more comfortable, moderate spot, but it scales. So as we get better, yeah, we'll still stay up in the top, but it won't disappear. It'll be a maintained nerf. And so I made that argument. A lot of druids didn't like it for obvious reasons because they're like, shut up, maybe they won't nerf us. But the reality was it was coming, and the nerf is probably the best nerf we could get because it's so minor. It is depending on your
like
gear,
100
like
DPS probably.
Yeah, if
lost.
you're in
So
like
wait,
if
what
you're
do
in
you
like
have to give
early
up?
phase 2,
What glyph do you have to give up for this?
Glyph of Rip. So, in case you don't play Feral, Ferals have a standard glyph set. They run Glyph of Rip, Glyph of Shred, Glyph of Savage Roar. Now, when I did the video, I actually suggested Savage Roar would be the one, but we did a bunch of simming on it, and those Savage Roar and Rip are very close. Rip is slightly less of a DPS loss, so it's Rip. Yeah, and it will change your rotation slightly because your Rip isn't going to extend as long as it did. But honestly, because of the Feral Fairy Fire change, you still have a very dynamic playstyle, and you have a lot more control over when you put your 5 combo points on anyway. So you just have to you'll sacrifice a ferocious bite from time to time. But yeah, overall, it is a nerf. It's pretty minor, and that's exactly what everybody wants. They
Seems
wanted
like
to get just enough of a nerf. Go ahead.
No, you go. I thought you were done. Good.
No, they wanted to give him just enough nerf to move him down to like 6th or 7th. So that, your combat roads would stop whining, the warriors would stop whining because we got nerfed, and everyone would be happy. And then when phase 4 comes out in ICC, we move right back up there, but we're still 300 to 400 DPS below where we were. And I think we're going to be happy.
They're sitting at 7th right now, so I mean, they're doing okay.
And I think that's a comfortable place for Ferals. I think that's where everyone expected them to be right around now. So I wouldn't have been surprised if they decided not to nerf us at all. But also, Warriors complain a ton, and it was just inevitable that we were going to get something.
The Warriors are just waiting for their turn in ICC when they can finally start to show off. But if they ever actually do come up with Kata, and I really hope they don't, but if they do, Fury Warriors go right back into the tank anyway. So they get their one phase.
I mean,
and then they
their
stuck
place.
outside of Vanilla WoW, like Warriors go back down. And Vanilla WoW, the big reason that they jump up so fast is world buffs, because they basically get a whole extra set of gear with those buffs. So
they scale really well. That's
why.
Yeah,
they just jump to end. They just jump to end game there. Whereas that's the problem with the age old problem with Warriors, that they generate rage based on damage, and and they can do multiple every warrior can be doing something on GCD and off of GCD at all times. So they're doing double moves constantly if they have the rage for it. So as soon as rage opens up, they open up, regardless of if you have armor pen, if you have yada, 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 they just get stronger and stronger, and weapons are huge in that too. But I also think that this probably helps in the whole PvP game for druids also too, to not over buff them in PvP. I don't know if you do a lot of PvP.
Well, it didn't really affect them in PvP because you could only use it on non-player characters, like the Feral Fairy Fire trick. So if anything, it slightly also nerfed Feral tanks, but because Feral tanks, I don't know if you guys remember, they got a slight threat buff. So at the end of the day, they actually overall, just like Feral cats, they got a slight buff. They don't really rely on the Feral Fairy Fire proc in order to be solid tanks because they generate so much rage from dodge and other ways that they don't have rage starved problems unless they're off tank, and they can they can figure things out.
Well, and you guys took it. You guys took the least hit on the whole dodge fix, which made my prot warrior go from like beast to least.
Yeah,
like,
but we were
like you
already
guys.
getting hit.
Well, but you guys used Agi though. You guys didn't use.
You didn't use pure block. Yeah, the block stat was the problem.
No, it was the
defense
dodge. Yeah. Well, defense or anything that gave you dodge. I think it was actually not defense. It was just dodge rating.
Was it dodge? Because I remember we were talking about this, and we still get affected, but because we lean heavily on Agi, we were affected less.
Yeah, it's dodge rating that was basically broken, like dodge rating, and so. Since you would only have that on capes, maybe rings, maybe you know what I mean, like trinkets. Yeah, whereas we have it on all of our gear, so we had a lot more.
Are you guys talking about feral tank? Are you guys talking about feral tanks?
Yeah,
I haven't actually seen any.
They don't exist. Yeah,
they're very few and far, but
they're great
I've
for
seen
an
them on streams.
Tank. They're great for an off tank. They're just, but there's better options, and because especially now that cats can pump pretty well, they're really not even sought after because the DK can do the same thing, and they have better cooldowns. We have an awesome, feral druid in our weekend raid, and when my warrior who used to be awesome, is now not awesome, dies. She's actually been able to change. And because she was, on bosses that aren't tauntable, because she was already way up there in threat, she's able to just jump over and tank. And I was just like, that's a really cool little so what I'm looking for, not Band-Aid, but option. Oh shit button. I mean, it's a utility. It's one more utility that ferals have, or just druids in general have, but specifically the feral we can. I've done it where I've saved a wipe. You know how when you're after you do Kalagarn, you come down and there's those 2 adds in front of every single one.
Mm-hmm.
We had the tank go down, grab them, and not have any healers because they were all screwing around up top.
Rolling on gear and shit. I died to those stupid guys every time. Yeah. Healers aren't there yet.
Excuse me. No.
You don't ever heal me, Mel.
Get out of here.
I'm talking about me taking. You don't ever heal me. You take with me on that raid and you die too from it.
So, but I've had a time where that happened. I went to bear form. I popped survival instinct, grabbed them both, held them until the healers got down and either the secondary tank or somebody could B-res the first tank. Not many other classes can do that. Maybe a DK switching to blood spec, but usually you need the full spec.
Or a frost spec, DK, switch it over to frost
yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. But it's so smooth for a feral to do it because their gear isn't horrible. It's just not 45 to 50,000 health. But yeah, so stuff like that is utility. It's a part of the class.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty nice, but combat rogues can't do that.
Yeah, I know. We're a better class. We've accepted that now.
Bastard. Oh, man. I mean, I guess we could do it for 15 seconds. We could definitely evasion tank for 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. And evasion tanking is way stronger than in my opinion, than a feral cat going bear. Because even though you're bear, you're still relying on healers to, keep you somewhat up. Whereas evasion tanking, especially as a physical damage dealer, you're taking almost no damage. So you're just actually it's a little bit stronger.
Back in original vanilla, I actually tanked Ani phase 3, the entire phase 3 as a rogue. I wasn't supposed to wear my my fire res gear. But I didn't hear the raid leader say that we're gonna do this week without any of it. So I was in my full fire res gear, and I didn't really understand at the time. But I mean, most of the Ani damage is just all fire. So tank died. I got aggro. I moved it to the
Bob
front.
Wasn't listening.
Yeah.
and got rewarded for it.
And it paid off.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
And I moved it to
That's where
the
it all
front.
started.
And then the raid lead was like, holy shit, this is cool. Bob's take it. Bob, take off salve. Take off salve. Took off salve and just tanked it for the rest of the time. And like Discord was going crazy. It was one of, like, I'll never forget it as long as I
wasn't
live.
Discord, it was Ventrilo.
Ventrilo, sorry. Yeah, true.
Yeah. TeamSpeak or something like that.
No, it was definitely Vent. Yeah.
You're talking about like original vanilla.
Yep.
Oh wow. That's nuts.
Yeah, it was super cool. People on the server were talking about it. Like, I mean, it was a different time. Like, it was so cool.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny that, like, I think that's what I mean. I think Blizzard did the best they could with like the whole community aspect. But you have to admit, the first time around, like, everybody knew everyone on your server. Like, you were, you know, like, you know all the guilds.
We knew the one guy that had a freaking scarab mount.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was like one guy on every server.
Everyone.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't really know much about anybody on other servers.
Yeah, no, like
you definitely
other
lived in
servers
your
didn't
own
exist.
little home.
It was a bubble.
And there was tons of shit talking on the forums. I remember, like,
I loved it. You'd go into a battleground and you knew the people that you were
Turbo.
fighting.
Oh yeah.
Turbo. Tauren Warrior. I'll never forget that asshole. Like, I was a rogue, and this guy just whooped my ass all the time. Like,
Turbo is the reason Bob went Warrior when we made classic characters.
Yeah, when we came back to Classic Fidelity.
Turbo, that he was like,
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be Turbo this time.
I'm not gonna die to Turbo.
What'd you name your character? Did you name it Turbo?
Blazing Bob.
No.
Oh, too bad. You had opportunity.
You had an opportunity there, Bob.
Yeah, I was stun dude. Well, no, I actually my vanilla rogue was Devil Doll, because it was my brother's account who quit. He quit at like level 38, and I was like, oh, I'll take your account. And so yeah.
Talk about that.
I mean, it's not like they can do anything to me now, like,
Just kidding.
but yeah, like yeah, and then when I made my Horde Rogue, it was Stun Dude for TBC and Wrath and Kata. But yeah, Turbo.
Very
I'll never
creative.
forget Turbo. So you're definitely right. It was really cool to see the same people in BGs and have like rivalries and be like, Turbo's in the game. All right, this time.
I mean,
This time I'm taking
you have
him.
to have a back and forth win ratio for it to be a rivalry. I'm just throwing that out there. You know, like when somebody always wins.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
It was like 80-20. It was like, you know, like I still won
Occasionally you'd
sometimes.
pull it out when you know,
Yeah.
when you were a rogue and did rogue
When-
things, when he was like 20% health fighting other people, you know.
Yeah,
like,
there was that. And then when like I was able to take his heal out, you know, and my heal was able to survive, which was you. You know, there were definitely
It
those
wasn't very
times.
often. You guys, I hate PvP. Oh,
All right, so what else do we have here? All right.
BlizzCon.
BlizzCon's next. So this
have
is
you
what
guys
I
been
was.
before?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. 2019, 2018, 2017. It used to be the highlight of our year. Like, as a creator, you just like kind of get like, unless you're an asshole, I guess, but you kind of get just welcomed in by all
a
of the
blast.
other creators. Like, and you just
Again?
get
It's an
to,
absolute blast.
yeah.
I've never been.
Each year gets better too. The more people you know,
Yeah.
like it just gets better and better.
And honestly,
Better.
you go for the people.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, I watch all of the
panels and
stuff.
stuff like that. Like you watch that
I
on the
watched that-
online version.
Yeah, I watched that on the plane on the way home, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you watched the
Well,
opening
you know-
ceremony.
I remember I was watching it. This is like early BlizzCons, and I was watching this interview, and this guy said, you know, this is the first opportunity for me to meet all my guild mates
Mhm.
that like I've been playing with for 2 to 3 years, and he's like, it's so great for us to just like get together and, you know, and I was like, that would be cool to, you know,
Yeah.
have your raid just standing there like physically next to each other, like, hey, you're
Yeah,
that
we-
healer. Yeah.
We've got a few people talking. Our guild's a really close, tight knit group of players. We've been playing together now since Classic, and I've been to the last two BlizzCons. I've already booked 3 rooms for the week that it is normally on.
Yeah.
Just hoping. Okay, well,
Fingers
there's a good
crossed.
chance. There's a good chance they're going to announce it for that first weekend in November, and I've got a room actually at the can't remember. I don't know that I want to mention it actually on the stream.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
Right.
I've
Tell us later.
yeah, I've got a room where I normally stay, and then I was checking a couple of places that were closer. Well, it's where basically like the main hotel,
Like the Marriott or the
Hilton.
So, and there were rooms that were available, and I'm like, oh, I already booked at the place I normally stay at, and I was like, oh, those other places have rooms available. I'm going to book there now, book there as well. So,
in case,
I'm just waiting for them to decide when it's going to be, but. A good hint is that TwitchCon is like the weekend before or the weekend after or something like that. And
normally,
in the past, they've had it back-to-back weekends because it allows the Europeans to come over and do it encourages them to come over. So
to stay for that whole period. Yeah.
We were
supposed to go to TwitchCon. We went to TwitchCon last year, and we were supposed to go to TwitchCon this year. And we've been waiting to hear when BlizzCon's going to be. They've been dragging their feet, telling us. I'm like, I can't commit to TwitchCon until I know, because I'm not from out of town, right? So, like, if they are back-to-back weekends, it's like I could stay and then go to TwitchCon but then, like, or I could come back and then go back. Like, that seems weird, too. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're in Vegas.
In Vegas,
that'll be an absolute gong show, having a bunch of
I'm sure
drunk gamers who a lot of them. There's a lot of them that probably do drink a lot, and then there's a lot of them that don't drink at all, and they're going to be drinking for the first
God. In Vegas.
And we have a chance currently to like go to TwitchCon and stay at the big like streamer house with like Cargos and Sarth and Crix and right now they're up to 19 people in like a house that like a huge mansion that's like 28 people but. We have to know to be able to play it. We have to know. BlizzCon is definitely I have to go to that. Yeah, Twitch. If we could work TwitchCon in too, that'd be awesome. But I gotta know first. And they said it's going to be revealed within the next 2 weeks. So that makes me wonder if that's going to be part of the announcements on the Sarth stream Saturday the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Is BlizzCon usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It's only 2 days.
It's usually
right?
Friday, Saturday.
Thursday the festivities start. They usually have something going on.
Con before the storm and different parties and stuff.
Yep. Sunday it ends.
Did they have a BlizzCon last year? Like a one you could go to?
No. Yeah. This will be the first one since 2019.
2019. Yeah. Did you ever go to any of the World of Podcast panels at Con before the storm? Aladar?
I was arriving on Thursday. I think those were usually
Thursday night.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. So
in the Hilton conference room areas and stuff.
I don't remember because the first time I went, I got a room with Stay Safe, and so I got there really late. Like I worked, and then I took the flight down, took a cab all the way to Anaheim. And by the time I got there, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So I think I would have missed it at that point.
Yeah, you probably did. I met Stay Safe 2019 at Con Before the Storm, right before Mel did the Overwatch panel at Con.
So but he and I were split in a room that year, and I just immediately put my bags down and went and met them, and it was like. It was all the streamers, Asphon, Asmongold, everyone. Obviously, if they were at a fast food restaurant, obviously. So
see,
that's where we went.
In 2019, 18, and 17, 2019, I had just started playing. Classic World of Warcraft, and just started getting into all the content. We were actually there. With Blizzard media passes for our old podcast, the Overwatch League recap. And then both Mel and I did different podcasts on just Overwatch prior to that. So we were there at an Overwatch capacity, but I got to run into all these like new people that I had just started to watch, like Stay Safe. Who's the guy that's like the president of Asmongold's thing? Taunt, that guy. What's his name? Dang it. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
I didn't know Asmongold had a president of anything.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
Only Thieves are One True King, OTK. He's like the president of OTK. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. But I got to meet him. I got to meet like a bunch of different creators that did classic stuff, but we didn't have the podcast then. We made the podcast right before the gates of AQ opened in Classic WoW, because Overwatch League had gotten, in my opinion, kind of stale and pretty gross with them changing like rules every other week. And so I just ended the other podcast. Was like, well, I still want a podcast, so I'm going to make a Classic WoW podcast. Yeah, what is his name?
You're not talking about Tips Out, are you?
Tips Out, yes.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking Tips Out, but you weren't even near his name, so I didn't say it.
Yeah,
Tips Out, like, baby.
Saying T maybe means tips. Yeah.
I was looking at the list. I was like, I don't know.
I got to meet him, but he'd been taking a lot of shit like right before that, so he was a little like guarded when I was like, dude, I love your content. I do Overwatch content, but I love your stuff so far. And he's like, okay.
He's a really good guy, actually. Tips. He'll give you the shirt off of his back in order to help someone. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he seems like it.
He was starting to rise up in the creator world and then just disappeared. Because remember, he was doing the announcing of the PvP battles and stuff.
He didn't disappear. He's the guy.
He became some. That's what I think. That's
running OTK in the background.
But I mean, he doesn't do content anymore.
No,
he's full time with running the stuff with OTK. So,
well, good for him.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for BlizzCon. I hope we get the news, and
I might go. This would be a really good one for me to go to, because I think like Wrath will probably still be live in November. Yeah, September.
It'll probably be around ICC time.
I honestly think that's probably when they may announce like what they're gonna do with Kata. I mean, I'm honestly like, I would not be shocked if they just don't do Kata, because I don't hear a lot of people that are really too excited about it. To be honest, I don't really hear much chatter about, oh, we're gonna go to Kata. Let's do this.
I hear some. I know Scotty J, Willie really like it.
That they'll do it.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, Kata is going to be absolutely bomb. I don't think it's going to have anywhere near the numbers that Wrath does, and it's gonna. I think it's going to bomb very quickly. And the reason I think that they're going to, I think that's actually when they will probably announce Classic Fresh servers, because they'll lose so many subs that they'll come out with Classic Fresh like a month or two afterwards. And just to pump the sub numbers up again at that point.
Maybe. I mean, I wasn't even going to play Kata. I was sure about it. That I did a show with Willie and Scotty like a year ago.
Like selling you on it.
And they sold me.
Same thing to me.
They sold me on like all I'm at now is like, if they come out with it, I will definitely give it a raid log try. Like, where I'm just like, I'm not going to live in the world, but I'll raid log it, and I believe like I'm going to be hardcore going forward, like for a while. So it'd be just mainly hardcore, and then doing the raids, on the on Kata. But I don't see me raiding like I am now with like 3 characters. Oh, I was going to tell you a tip though. So Mel and I, the first time we did BlizzCon in 2017. We stayed at a hotel. It was nice and cheap, but it was a good, like, it was on the opposite side. So you had to like walk. It was like right next to like the grounds that they owned, but you had to walk by all this construction and stuff, like to get to the convention area. Then the next year we stayed like maybe 2 blocks from where you could just walk up to the door and walk in. But then 2019, we stayed at the Marriott, best choice ever, because you can keep your alcohol in your room. And we actually saved money because we bought the expensive like hotel room right there at the convention, because everybody hangs out. I mean, the freshmen hang out in the Hilton, like, and that's where you see the really drunk nerds like dancing on these girls. It's a total shit show. But the Marriott is where everybody actually hangs out, that like, you know, like that you want to talk to and kind of chill, like, and not have like the rave music, right? Like, and that's like the best spot. So you just go up and just refill like there.
You know, I gotta ask you. So in BlizzCon, there are kind of like people, like well-known people up on stage. You know, you've got Brian Birmingham. You had Ian. He's a Costa. I think I'm saying his name right. They're all gone now, right? Who's up on that stage at this point?
No, Ian's still there.
Yeah, but isn't he like up and above it now? He's not.
No, I think just for World of Warcraft stuff, you'd probably see him still do some of the announcing.
So
and
he'd
stuff
still
like
show
that.
up.
I
Yeah, 'cause,
wonder
like,
if Mike Ybarra is going to do it. Well, I
mean,
think
I
the
don't know if
opening
there's-
stuff. You're talking about
As
classic.
many as there were.
I would.
Just in general.
I would. If there's any classic talk, panel, whatever, a grand, dude. He's done so much for us. Like, I'd love to see him get some spotlight. But yeah, you're talking about like Overwatch not having Papa Jeff like come out and talk about Overwatch. It's going to be an interesting experience to say the least. But honestly, it was always about the people for us, and like all the everything else was icing. Yeah,
I did get to give Jeff Kaplan a hug, so you know that was cool.
Were you guys at the BlizzCon where they let people try out Classic WoW?
Yeah,
I was. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it? Was it
actually
cool, or was it like, wow, it's really buggy? But
no, it was amazing. I'll tell you a quick story, because we were standing in line. It was Stay Safe, Esfond, myself, and Tips. We were just waiting in line. We got there super early.
How did you not have? If you were with those guys, you should have had media, like to play it up in the like no line zone.
They had media because they were doing the Classic Cast stuff. And that's actually how I got it. That's actually how I got a ticket, is because they had bought their BlizzCon tickets, but then they were given their media passes.
Yep, we do that every year just in case we don't get passes.
And Esfond or Stay Safe, I think it was Esfond, actually heard that I was looking for a ticket. So they said, hey, he messaged me and he's like, hey, I think I can get you a ticket if you still want to come. And I was like, damn straight I do. I just got to find a room. And he's like, we think we got that covered too, because Stay Safe had. So I was like, okay. So we waited in line, got in pretty early, like maybe half an hour after the doors opened. And there was a, we walked in and there was only rumors that they were going to have the demo. It was like a big rumor going around that there was going to be a demo at the BlizzCon, and it turned out to be true. And in fact, a lot of that rumor that some guy let out ended up being true. And we sat down, and it was like myself and Tips and whoever else. Like, there was a huge group of us. And I remember like talking to Tips, and it was like two grown men were about to cry. Like, it felt so good to not be playing on private servers anymore. It was like, this is unbelievable. Right. So, yeah, but you were asking if you get to meet people as you're walking around. You get to meet like a lot, like you see them walking around everywhere, and you can just go and talk to them. Like
there are certain conventions where like you never see the like big people, right?
Yeah.
But I think at BlizzCon they just walk around the floor.
Yeah, I was walking.
Yeah, because they're just people.
Yeah,
you know,
gamers.
We'd met Ian Hazakosis. I actually went into the washroom inside the Marriott with Esfond. This is actually a funny story, because you know how they were like they were going after trying to get all the information that they could for their podcast. He and I walked into the hotel to go to the washroom, and I'm walking to the urinal, and I look to my left where the sink is, and there's Ian Hazakosis washing his hands. So I'm standing there going to the washroom, and I'm like, I've got to push this out as fast as I can because we got to find out where he's going. So I go outside and I'm waiting. I wash my hands, of course. Go outside and I see
maybe
where he's
not the whole 30 seconds, but you know, you did it.
Up to the elbows, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I see him walking in a direction, and I waited outside. Esfon walks out, and I told him, you know, Ian was in there, and he's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And we went on this hunt,
Like a mission.
to go find him. And I just dropped a picture in your Discord. We found him. And Esfon grilled him for like an hour, and I just stood there and kind of listened. And Esfon was grilling him about all these things that they were worried about. And Ian was a really cool guy. He was like, "Oh, he was, and he seemed like as interested about Classic as anyone else, and gave him all the time in the world." And then Esfond said, "Hey man, do you mind if we take a picture or whatever?" Right. So I go to jump in. I give the camera to someone else. Meryl, I don't know if you know her. She's a streamer, but gave her the camera. And I go to jump in, and Ian looks at me and goes, "Hey, hold on, man. This guy was here first." And I'm like, Esfond was like, "No, he's with me." You're
just like photobombing, and you're like, "Yeah, we can get a picture all together."
But yeah, I mean, you see these guys walking around, and they're super cool. I just posted another one in there, JL and Brack. Like, I just asked him for a picture, and then I was like, "Dude, I gotta, like, can I just get a quick picture? I gotta take off in a couple of hours to go catch my flight." And when we were done the picture, he held me back. He's like, "Let me ask you, what are you really excited about?" And I said, "To be honest, I'm excited about Classic WoW, because it hadn't been launched yet, obviously, right?" And he's like, "Well, why?" And I explained to him what the whole Classic community was been screaming about. This man who screamed out, "You think you do, but you don't." Like, he just does not understand the Classic community at all. And I had to explain to him why we love this version of the game so much.
He's never going to live that down ever. Like, that is his, you know what I mean?
No.
I kind of feel bad for him.
Wonder whatever happened.
It aged very well or very poorly, and it aged very poorly.
But the way he said it was pompous. Like, it's just everything
about it was.
It's a young guy learning lesson. We've all done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One person you named that I would really like to meet is Esfon. I used to watch his stream every once in a while, and he just has the biggest energy. Like, the guy just seems like almost terrifyingly energetic, and I'm curious, is he always like that, or just when he's streaming?
No, he's always like that.
Okay, I think it'd be cool to meet that guy.
A lot of these streamers that you meet, like, they're genuinely like super nice people. Like, you meet him in person, super nice guy, like super nice guy. And I could rattle off a bunch of people that I met at BlizzCon. Like, I never came across a streamer where I was like, "Wow, man, that was kind of disappointing." That
guy's a jerk.
We were at TwitchCon, and Crix got to meet Esfand. I didn't get to meet him. Every time I walked past him, he had just too many people there, and so I was just like didn't do it. But Crix got to meet him, and Crix was telling me the story, and he's like, "So I met Esfand, and as soon as I met him, I just went in for the hug." And he looked at me like, he's like, "Nope." Crix is like, "No, we are doing this. We are doing this." And he just gave a big old hug. Like, it was such a funny story.
Such an amazing part of TwitchCon. Can I just throw that out there?
I think Crix is another interesting, because he talks so fast, but it's just so funny, and he's so funny. Yeah,
so funny.
Dude, Crix and I did IRL questing on scooters in San Diego. We got lost and then had to use the map to find our way back.
Yes, surprisingly, Mel did not go on this trip, or they would not have gotten lost.
Mel was also the only reason that we all got to meet and get pictures with Amaranth, too. Mel was like, "Guys, I found Amaranth. You want to come check her out?"
Oh, yeah.
You were the one that got it.
I did, and I did not expect the mad rush of instantaneous so Bob, Crix, everybody like at my side, and I was like, "Okay, hi." Yeah, she's so actually not here. No, I'm just kidding.
She just got back from her ban, actually.
We had a good time. Oh yeah, this is you and Brian Birmingham.
Yeah.
I got to interview him a few months back.
Yeah, I was
He's awesome.
walking along inside, and Lazanta, who you see on my right, he called me over, and he was like, "Hey," because he and I were hanging out the whole weekend. It was his first time in North America. I've got like a billion stories about his dislike of North American food. But he called me over, and we were talking with Brian, and I can tell this story now, but he was talking to us, and we were talking about Classic, and he goes, "So when TBC launches, how would you like to see it done?" And I looked at him, I'm like, "You just said TBC's coming out." And he goes, "That's not what I meant." I'm like, no, you just said TBC's coming out. And because it had not been announced yet at all. Everyone knew that it was going to happen, though. But he was like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Listen, I don't have a recording device anyways." But Brian was fantastic. So,
Oh yeah.
and you hear all these people talk about how the developers don't care, they don't listen. I just from speaking with Brian and Ian, they are so energetic about when it comes to Blizzard or World of Warcraft. Like, you got to remember that these guys, Ian, for example, played World of Warcraft before he even worked at Blizzard.
Elitist jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was one of those guys.
Which is
one of those
still
guys.
used to this day.
Yes.
It's crazy, you know?
So he was
I mean,
a
you have
hard.
to
Do you
think
think he thought that, like, hey, in 20 years, people are going to be using the way back machine just so they could read articles that I wrote? Like,
I did it with
insane.
freaking Armor Pen. I think he rode the freaking Armor
holds
Pen.
up.
It's
The
on the
worst part is
internet.
it holds up. It's so solid. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think honestly, these people that work for Blizzard for the Classic team, especially, I think are very invested. It's just a matter of if they have their resources or the, buy-in from others to make the changes that we want them to make, right? It's not that they're like sitting there working against us. They're not the money mongers like trying to like get every cent out of us. Like they're the passionate people trying to make the game that we want to play, and not everybody wants the same game, right? And
I 100% agree. I think like we always give the devs are the thing we target. Like, come on devs. But really, it's that one or two tiers up where they're like, we know you need two or three more devs, but we're not going to give it to you. And the devs that are doing it are like struggling, and they're taking the blame. They're taking everything in it. Yeah.
And it's like, you either do it or it doesn't get done, and we either burn them out and they quit and we have to get new devs, or we.
Well, the worst part is no matter what they do, somebody's mad about it.
It's never going to be.
So like,
it's a lose-lose situation for them 100% of the time. Like
every change they make. I mean, like RDF's a good example. Like, they're like, we're doing nobody agreed. Like there was half and half. The Ret change was a whole, and then the Feral change, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it. And that's, and they got to deal with
story of their life.
All the hate. Yeah.
Yeah. This
and
picture
haters are always so much more vocal. Can we be honest about that? Like the haters are always way more vocal than the lovers.
Oh, this picture you posted here in our, I wish we could show the listeners at home, but Stay Safe looks so young.
He does, right?
Oh my God.
That was before a wife and kids.
Hey, what do you say?
Or wife and kids, sorry.
I love your shirt though.
Is Stay Safe the one right to the right of you?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, to the right if you're looking at it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even recognize him.
I mean, Asmongold looks really young too.
Yeah, but he still looks exactly like Asmongold.
Exactly the same, just like slightly younger, right?
Exactly like you'd think.
Yeah.
What was a young Asmongold? It looked like Asmongold but younger. Like there's no derivative. That's funny.
Shorter hair.
All right. Well. Yep. So BlizzCon, come back to us.
Everybody come say hi.
So like the last piece here is the different changes in the patch notes. The patch notes dot munching for warriors and mages, I guess, have been addressed. For anybody that doesn't know what dot munching is, I'm still like, don't totally understand it, but the way I understand it, the simple version is say you're a warrior with two, like you're a fury warrior with two weapons of the same speed. Both weps hit and crit the same time. You only get one of the bleed from the crit. What's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now. You guys aren't warriors, so you don't know.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying. I mean, I was paying attention. I wasn't thinking to look for it.
But the bleed from warriors, I forget what it is, but you get it when you get a crit. If you get them both at the same time, you don't get the benefit of one of them. Same with like fire mages. Yes, yeah, deep wounds.
Deep wounds and ignite for mages.
Yeah, and mages, they'll have like, if they have a fireball and a instant pyroblast hit at the same time, like it can munch it. So like mages have used a lot of like ways to like make sure that they don't hit at the same time. Warriors just try to use two weapons that are of slightly different speeds. But it looks like they've got that fixed. And that's a big one. So, so that might change their DPS quite a bit, but I really just like munching. I haven't completely understood, but that's the way I understand it.
I think you have a pretty good explanation. Yeah,
I got help from the Discord earlier today.
Yeah, you're not benefiting from both if they hit at the same time. So what they did is they adopted the Boomkin tier modification and applied it to all the other ones because it was a solution that had already worked. But apparently that was the reason they had to update the client, was to allow for them to rewrite code to fix it. I don't know how much of that's true, but yeah.
1-0-0-1-1-1-0-1-1-0-1-1-1-0.
Change that 1 to a 1. Oh yeah, that was it.
One of the other ones is meta gems can no longer be swapped in combat. I don't know that this was still used all that much. Sarth was saying that it wasn't used anymore much, but like still probably a good change.
It was a DK thing, right?
No,
classes that
it was a caster thing.
Yeah, you'd change the meta. You'd change the meta gem in your helm piece, and then you'd swap back again or something like that. So,
yeah, you would do it for what's it called when you get a whole bunch of buffs at the start, and then.
When you snapshot?
Yes.
The snapshot.
Yeah. And then you would change your meta to something else right after that.
That's so sweaty. That's so sweaty.
The way beyond what I'm willing to do.
But I don't think people are really doing it, especially not DKs anymore, because they don't really snapshot anymore.
Well, I think some of the guys that were trying to get like 99s or something like that were doing it. Definitely gold. You know, they were probably buying gold as well. But I like to think that I'm a little sweaty. I'm not anywhere near that sweaty though. Like when I heard about it, I was like, no, come on. Like how many like thousands of gold are we going to be spending for a raid now?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
they were dropping a mailbox next to them so that they could like just swap constantly. So that's out. Also, Honor Among Thieves is a subtly talent for rogues. Where you gain combo points that aren't exactly attached to a target. So rogues, for parsing's sake, were using this before a boss fight so they could start the fight with 5 combo points going. I know Go would love to talk about this because he mentioned it last week when we were talking about rogue DPS, but you will no longer be able to use that. They were in a sub-spec, getting 5 combo points, then switching back to either assassination or combat and starting the fight with 5 points. So slice and dice up immediately or rupture up immediately, like whatever they were doing, they're no longer going to be able to do that. The big one that's interesting is Dancing Rune Weapon will now has 4 or 5 bugs fixed with it. So Blood Decay might turn into an actual DPS spec, which I thought was weird.
I don't know what that is or what it does.
Well, they'll be able to do more DPS. I don't know that they're going to be like a competitive DPS spec. Will they? Like
Supposedly, with these changes, they might be. According to like Sarth, not according to the people that Sarth has talked to, he did like a little like small podcast stream one time with a bunch of like blood DK crazy people. And they were talking about like all the different things and saying how blood could possibly be the best single target DK damage in the game if they fix these certain bugs. So it'll be interesting to see.
Are they still going to be an effective tank with that same spec? Or
It would be a blood DPS spec,
blood
like
DPS spec.
yeah,
Okay.
like quite a bit different from the blood tank spec.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, but they theorized
Right?
it would
Yeah, I know.
outpace both other specs, which is crazy because those are already so like
Really good.
Unholy is so big already.
It would out DPS the other specs?
Yeah,
On single target fights
On
where there's
single
no
target,
cleave
yeah.
or anything. Supposedly. But we're going to have to see. We don't really have any DKs here to really talk about it, but I just thought I would mention it. And then the second to last thing here is, but we could probably just do them together as the last thing here. So, all right. So they're changing it to where Old War 10 normal mode items drop from Defense Protocol Beta, aka Heroic Plus. 20 Old War 25 man normal items drop from Old War 10, but hard mode Old War 10 items only drop from still Old War 10 hard modes. Old War 25 mode items still only drop from Old War 25 hard modes. But
I think that was the best thing they could do, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
I
we
think
can just talk about that first.
I was worried that they were going to move hard mode items to 10 man. And I say that's the best thing they could do. I know there's going to be people out there that are like, no, I hate you because they want to do 10 man to get the hard mode pieces that they didn't get before. And 10 mans are going to be easier to get. But I think this makes 25 mans a little bit easier to get too, you know?
Well, it also forces people to continue to do 25 mans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if not, they would be completely dead. Like
Yeah, like there'd be no reason to do 25 man
instead. Yeah.
Yep.
100%. I'm assuming he's gonna mention that next, but like you can now buy 10 man hard mode items.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially because they're pretty easy to farm.
And they're like not very many daily tokens or whatever it is, right?
There's like,
and so
it's some of them are like 12 to 15, which is just one world tour.
Well, here,
yeah, so
okay.
what's the point?
Let me explain
it. Them?
Yeah, let me explain it really quick. So, the next thing is you can buy 10 man hard mode items, including everything from Algalon, anything from 10 man hard modes, which is crazy for some classes because rogues, over half of your gear as BIS in current phase is 10 man hard mode items. It's really
Can you
weird.
buy 10 man regular items too?
No. Well, I don't know actually. I just know that you can buy 10 man hard mode items with a new currency called Sidereal Essence. It's a really weird name, but I guess one drops from the final boss in any beta Titan Rune Dungeon, so the new Heroic Plus drops from the last boss. Everybody in the group gets one. So if you do all the hard modes, like all the Heroic Plus dungeons, like Violet Hold, everything, UP, if you do a world tour, I think you can get, it's something like 12, I don't know the number, but it's 12 to 14 a day that you can get. Okay,
question though. The Heroic Plus, bear with me. You're telling me that there's like the current dungeons that we have are going to have a new difficulty level as
Yes,
well,
Yes.
not just the
Mhm.
new dungeon.
Yeah, it's going to be the Heroic Plus was
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Titan Rune
alpha.
Alpha, and this is beta.
Yeah, you
So
know
they
how when
all-
you click on the thing and it had like it said like there's like a text and the little orb
Mhm.
popped up. Now there's
Mhm.
two different texts. And
Okay.
instead of just it lighting up, the middle thing spins. But yeah, essentially it's just a different version of the same dungeon at a higher level.
Okay.
And there's gonna be another one apparently in the future.
Alpha,
So
beta,
Gamma.
Charlie.
Yeah.
so so now with this new currency,
Titan Rune Charlie.
you can buy the 10 man stuff, and most of it is either 12 or 15 of these currencies. So if you did a full world tour of all the Heroic pluses every day, you could get an item a day. Now, world
I feel
tours
like at
are
this
a
point
lot.
We should just call them beta, right? Like plus sounds just too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to start that trend right now.
Maybe.
We just say her
Yeah.
beta.
I think the LFG tool is going to encourage that as well because that's what it's called in there now.
Yeah.
Well,
It
it's
is going to
definitely
gonna
be good.
Yeah, it's going to take you several hours to get through the world tour. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
10
Unless you
10 to
go with a
11,
crazy
yeah.
pumper group.
yeah,
Even
it's
then,
gonna-
I mean,
yeah, it's going to take you a while.
So here's the
Um,
thing is that do you think, like, to be honest, if you can still get 10 mode hard mode gear, I guess it guarantees that what you want you can buy,
Mhm.
right? But it's not
Mhm.
saving that much time, right? Like you could run.
But it's to allow you to buy the gear that you've gone every single week, and you just are not getting these pieces that are
Mhm.
dropping, right? So
Like
Right.
Runestone or like
Dark
bloody-
matter,
the,
yeah,
the
there's
effing
tons of
the
them.
effing wand, the effing wand.
that's still bis
Yeah.
through TOC
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on. So
Wait,
And
for what
I
class?
do-
What wand?
the
The-
caster, well, obviously it's a caster wand.
I think it's the same one you use that is the one for locks too, I think.
Yeah, it's the one on off Freya, right?
Yes.
Is it off?
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's off
off. Yes.
Mm.
I can't remember the name of it. I just know that I look for wand every time we kill 10-man Freya
Oh.
hard and
I
You know,
use
I-
the one from Ignis, the Scepter creation.
but is it going to be every item that's in 10-man hard modes is going to be available, or is it just really it's going to be every single one, huh?
I think
Currently
I looked at
on
the
Weird.
list.
PTR, every single hard mode item is there.
Okay.
I didn't check
matter,
it myself, but I
Tombstone.
watched a couple streams of people,
Yeah.
and actually, Sarth has a video out now where he shows them looking through it all.
Can we petition for the illustration of the Dragon Soul to
is-
also be available on there? Because I
Well,
don't
here,
have that yet.
let me
and
throw out like
I don't want to
just
run OS.
let me throw out how much Blizzard hates warriors, though. Okay, the two-hander. Okay, so most everything is 12 to 15 of this new currency.
Commander's 30.
The two-hander that warriors want 2 of them of is 40
You
each.
can't have two-handers.
Oh no!
Yes,
How can you
warriors
have
can.
two-handers?
That's
Titan
that's
grip.
one of their. It's Titan grip.
Yeah,
that allows them to
it-
do that.
Yeah, it changed with Wrath.
That
now-
sucks to suck.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if they want to get 2 of them, it's 80. I was just cracking
That's
up
a
when I
lot.
looked at that. I was like, and then the next like highest thing's 20, but literally almost everything else is 12 or 15.
Hey,
But
if you do them every single day, you could have both of them in around a week. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
But that is
you're
a
talking
lot.
11 hours of grinding every day. Because I don't know if you guys did. You guys do the world tours early on, like
Yeah.
when the heroics were
I
safe.
actually
Yeah, we
never
had-
got through one full world tour. The only with Crix one time we did like 9. We did like 9
But
of them.
Here's the thing. So the world tours too, even when like there were a lot of the dungeons that you could just skip most of the bosses and go to the straight to the
That
last
is
boss,
true.
right?
That is
That's
true.
like-
There is
So-
a lot of skips.
And
Yeah, I
those
didn't
were
think about
figured
that.
out after the initial like world tour stuff started, right?
Mhm.
So I do feel like these aren't going to take you 11 to 12 hours anymore. These are going to take you 5 to 6 hours to do an entire world tour.
That's a good
So,
point.
Halls of Stone is 2 bosses.
Wait, it was
DTK is one. Like if you skip everything, like if you skip the absolute minimum, so you have 2 bosses that DTK is one. Gundrak, you still have to do the whole clear because they're all except for the.
It was always a bummer when that one was the daily.
Halls of Lightning, it's a full clear. So like there are some that you could do big skips on, but it will shave some, but also you're doing the hard mode, like the hardest hard mode, and that probably balances it out pretty close. I'm not saying like you're not gonna go a little faster, but like just like Bob said, you get to like the 9th one and you're like, let's just take a break. Let's just like even when we did full world tours, we always took a half hour to an hour break after about like 8 or 9 because you're just like you're so sick of it. Like, this is stupid.
That was right around the time when people would be like, guys, I gotta go cook dinner for my kid. There's an excuse for why someone's gotta leave, and then you're either asking some to start their world tour with like 4 instances at which they're usually
got, like the piecemeal.
They're usually not wanting to do that because they want to find a full world tour themselves. So you're running the risk.
But your world tour is going to end about this time too. So you just have to cut in a new world tour after you finish ours.
I think they're hoping that people will pug and help out other people that like aren't as geared as they are, but I don't know that that's gonna be the thing that happens.
I think our guild's gonna go into it with like groups of 5, and they're just gonna be on Discord, just flying through it once a day.
I mean, we already do that on our guild. Like still, like sometimes we'll take alts, but like sometimes we're just gonna do the daily, and the daily for a well geared group is a beeline to the end. You know what I mean? Like we don't slow down. We chain pull and and I think the beta is going to be like that in like 2 weeks.
And I think this is more of a catch up mechanic too, because like
my
alt rogue is going to love this. My main rogue has every single 10-man piece that I need because I've ran it every week and got kind of lucky. Like. But I have every single piece that I need. Like 10-man is worthless to me now, besides helping out, guild.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was anything I needed from 10-man. I guess my boots.
Yeah, but
like
different classes are different. Like
you never see.
I think rogues and I think druids also too. Like I think most of our bist comes from 10-man hard modes.
Do you have the cinch, the belt?
I've got I've got the belt from Yogg from 10-man. I've got Dark Matter. I've got the bracers from XT. I've got the thrown weapon. I've got the neck from 25-man.
The better one.
Yeah, which is actually better for combat rogues at the moment. But for you still want the neck from Freya,
I wear the newer one, but you can it's a good alternate. Like it's very close, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But like you're right. Like I have an alt feral, and he doesn't have any of that stuff. And all I can think is like, man, I can have him as geared as my main in a week.
Yep.
Of just putting the time in.
And I'm thinking about, this is content for me during the day, like to stream doing these things with pugs. And just like showing people what it's like with pugs, like I'm always looking for something to do during the day. So, I mean, it's cool for me, but it's just interesting. I wonder if there's going to be any other ways to get this currency. So I'm curious. If they would have made it to where you could use Ulduar badges, it would have been just like probably silly unless it cost each piece was like 80 badges or something like that. Like, because I don't know, all of my guys have like 300 plus Ulduar badges at the moment.
Yeah, I think I have close to 400, and I'm just like I've got nothing to use them on. So
gems,
ruined orbs.
This much time in here, like just make it like equivalent so that people would have to spend this much time in here to get the items that I want.
All right, well, guys, I think unless you have anything else to talk about, for anybody listening that's just like, hey, where's the interview? like I said at the start of the show, I will be getting with these guys one-on-one and doing a little short interview with them, and we'll put it on episodes in the future. So you will get to know these guys a little bit more. So, but we're, time and, yeah. Anything else you guys want to throw in about there's a whole bunch more changes. We'll have it linked in the notes. There's a whole bunch more changes that happen, different bug fixes. Like there's a ton, but I mean, we weren't going to talk about all of them. But is there anything you guys want to hit on specifically before we're done?
The only thing I want to say is that the My Slot add-on apparently is very helpful with the PTR.
Although, I tried to use it today, though. Like the PTR currently, like all the add-ons are broke. So my slot worked for some stuff. It did work for some stuff. Like it changed all my keybinds, but
don't you normally do like an add-on, right? Like a special add-on?
Yeah.
What if I had an add-on for you that fixes all the all the errors on the PTR? It's a 2-line add-on.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What does this add-on do?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our add-on of the week.
All right.
I want to cut it off. Okay, so this is not mine, though I did, because I wasn't trusting it because somebody just blindly gave this to me. I went through and read through the code to make sure it wasn't doing anything illegitimate. There is a function that exists in Dragonflight that a lot of our code references. So what this does is it fakes that function so the errors stop happening for weak auras, details, LVY.
You mean it'll stop saying I have to stop clicking ignore this error?
Yeah. Well, it won't get rid of every single error, but it'll get rid of about 99% of them.
Because we flopped to the client, to the new Dragonflight client, right?
Yeah, you just install it as an add-on. You can look at it. It's only 2 files. It literally, the first file calls the second file, and the second file is just a function, and it does nothing. Just so the errors will stop for all of the weak auras, or for all of the add-ons. Check it out. It's really simple.
So you just throw this AAA folder into your add-ons folder?
Add-ons. Yeah.
Okay.
And it just, bam, magical.
All right. I'll give it a shot.
Feel free to look at it. If you guys don't trust me, it's not. There's nothing to it.
But lose all my gold, I'm coming for you.
Your bank account, your PayPal account's all gone.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how, I don't know how, but like post this in the show notes, but I'll try and find a way.
That's the problem. I've been dumping it on my Discord.
Post it in Discord. We'll post it in Discord.
Yeah, we'll post it in Discord. You'll have to join our Discord to actually find it. Perfect.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Try it out.
All right, sweet. All right. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and start ending out the show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us an email, the address is wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to join our Discord, it's discord.me/Warcraft Reloaded, or you can check the link in the description. How can you help the podcast? Well, we are still a top 200 iTunes and Spotify gaming podcast. So you guys are killing it there. But we're asking for you to help us grow on YouTube. And the last couple weeks, you guys we have jumped up. You guys are leaving comments. You guys are
lightly offended that I wasn't on last week, and you guys watched a lot of last week's episode. I'm just going to say, like, when I'm not on, I mean, I feel like you should have a little bit more respect.
But yeah, you guys have been helping a ton. Comments help a ton. Like, they just help YouTube think that people want to see this, so they put it in front of more people. So keep helping us with that. Like, helping us grow helps a lot. You can be a patron, get ad-free episodes. You can also get early access episodes, because we normally record but don't release until Tuesday. So you can get the episode a few days early if you are a Patreon. And that's patreon.com/Warcraft Reloaded. You can also find every link that you need at warcraftreloaded.com. And yeah, that's how you guys can help the show. Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me in the YouTube comments. Not really. I don't read those. So sorry. I don't like to get my feelings hurt. Or you can find me on Benediction raiding, and soon I did just make a character on hardcore. So I haven't done anything on it yet, but I rolled and I made a priest. Shocker. But I was willing to try other things, okay? The roll was the determining factor there.
Yeah, we did a thing where there was 4 different things. You gave me 4 different classes. I told you what I'd play with that class. And then you rolled 1 out of 4 to see which one we would do. Turned out to be priest mage. So I'm a mage.
Yeah. We're probably going to die very quickly.
The mage
just so you can start over?
Not because of me. Can we just talk about that?
And Glyph, where can we find you?
Mainly on YouTube, youtube.com/GriftonWow or @Grifton. You'll find me. I do Druid content. Sometimes I do Twitch streaming, but mainly YouTube. But yeah, you can find me in the comment section. I do read them all. I cry, but I still respond afterwards. But no, like honestly, like my like people that watch, like the followers on YouTube are like the most, like the nicest. Most of them are the nicest people. Like they're very like understanding and like reasonable. And I'm like, man, I don't want it to get any bigger because I'm afraid of like the, you know.
Yeah. Like our podcast listeners are very nice. Very nice. I mean, the ones that write in, it's more effortful to write in on a podcast, right? So like you get the nice ones. But
I envy you guys. All my followers are just there to troll me. At least 50% of them, anyways.
100%.
Same.
It's all in good fun. I know some of them are actually watching right now. I know it's all in good fun. We have fun, but
I legit shared my screen for 20 seconds the other day in Discord, and they put it on screen, and like everyone was commenting about my UI, and I was like, listen, I don't stream. There's a reason for that. I don't need your opinions. I do what I do.
Well, and Glyph, you and Go do a
oh my god. Thank you for Go would have killed me if I didn't mention this. My buddy Go and I do a podcast called the Griffin Go Podcast every Wednesday, 6 EST, where we talk about Druid stuff. Man, I completely forgot about it. We take turns hosting it, so if you don't see it one week, it's probably because Go is hosting it, and then I'll host the next. The next week. But yeah, I always forget it, and Go is like, bro, why didn't you mention that thing? And I'm so sorry.
I've been on his ass, and I'm gonna be on yours now because now we're closer. Gotta get that on audio, dude. Spotify.
Go
iTunes.
is working on it. He actually mentioned it a couple days ago. So
okay, well, hopefully, he knows that he can ask me any questions. So like, you gotta get that on audio because it's a completely different audience.
I look way better on audio too. So like, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Me too. Then people come on YouTube and they look at me and they're like, wait, that's not what I pictured you to look like. Whoa.
I said all the time.
It's like, am I better or worse looking than what you pictured in your head? And it's usually worse, but that's fine.
Well, who actually looks better on video, Aladar, where can we find you?
Hey.
I'm at twitch.tv/Aladar at least 5 days a week, usually. And I do have a fairly active and growing YouTube channel. I've also just in the last couple of days taught myself how to actually edit shorts and stuff like that. So I've started to post shorts, mostly hardcore stuff because that's what I'm playing primarily on stream.
Nice.
And I've also
but those are epic shorts, right? Yeah. Like just little shorts of people biting it.
And I've just recently started TikTok, which I don't actually use or try not to because I find that I roll over, pick up my phone, and then I see one and I just start flipping through.
Oh my gosh.
Like TikTok and shorts on YouTube, and suddenly it's like 2 hours later and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell have I been doing? So
I believe the term is doom scrolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it at the airport, which is actually a good call, guys, right? Like if you're at the airport, like it's a really good way to remind yourself or to not realize you're at the airport for 3 hours.
Yeah. So twitch.tv/Aladar is the main one. And then all my socials are pretty much there. You can reach me there in my Discord, etc., etc. So
awesome. All right, and guys, I'll have these guys give me all of their links, so it'll be in the show notes as well. You can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find me on Twitch and this show live at Blazin Bob. Let's get out of here, guys. Gotta go play some PTR.
Bye.
Until next week. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.